But we're back, that's for sure. Criana isn't here right now, but she will be swinging by in an hour. So we're going to just continue on ahead, and she will join in when she joins in. Still just waiting so I can tweet out to everybody that we started.
Yeah, it just popped up for me.
There it
So
is. Yep, just popped up for me too. Boom. Twatted. And before we officially start, Allie drew a picture
Oh,
in
shit.
Riftyfell. Yep, of Al's new hairdo, and now Piph is like, "Oh God, now I have to have another window."
I
Ah,
missed that. I didn't see that. No, I want to go see.
it was posted an hour ago. Allie's the best at timing.
Ooh. Nice.
Oh, actually, also Tim Combs did a picture of Mila being Neo, apparently knowing Kung Fu. On another picture of Mila.
Aw, that's adorable. Al looks adorable.
Jawohl.
I need to go by here more often.
Mm-hmm. How you doing there, Piff?
Pretty good.
Good.
Oh
I'm not
God.
too sure. Have you shown off the fine arts?
I have.
Okay. It's just I'm blind on this end. I can't see the stream now, so
I'm pretty blind on
uh
my end, too.
yeah, well, it's even kind of almost legit for me because I had a horrible eye infection. Horrible. So great. Hello everyone. Okay, so when we last left off, our brave heroes just finished escaping after a little bit of intrigue in Ishpeming. They have loaded up all their traded gains with the black market sell in Ishpeming onto the Rhapsody, and after some final farewell words with Milo and the rest of the little black market crew, you guys are headed off. Uh, Back on board the Rhapsody, everyone gets, to their proper stations, for lack of a better word, and you guys are ready to move on if you choose to, or you could stay out in the middle of this kind of wilderness with an advanced spaceship, just waiting to see who might come on by and take a look and gander at you. He says sarcastically.
As tempting as it is,
Mhm.
because imagine we just have Patrick there taking pictures of their faces. As tempting as it is, we have an ex-baron to offload.
You do. He is still asleep. I believe he is in Bear's room, secured down there. Even though it was a little bit trashed by that die-in, um, it's still doable to hold the fella down. So, where do you guys want to head? Where do you guys want to go?
Tolkien, right, guys?
Yes.
I believe so, yes.
Okay, all right. So the idea is to go to Tolkien. So every time we do lovely travel in the Rhapsody, I always have to ask, how high you going and how fast are you going? Because these, of course, are relevant questions, I like to think.
Yes. So Ipswing's not too far flight-wise from Tolkien, if I understand correctly. So we
Well, you've
would
never
want.
been to Tolkien before, but by the your best estimations, or I could say the PC and the NPC's best estimations, it's not super far. It's definitely not the east or west coast. It's definitely still in, around the central northerny area, well, central area of North America.
Okay. Okay. I think that we need to stay low enough that we can see land masses for two reasons. One, so we know when we found the city, and two, so that we can see a good place to set down.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully still remain high enough that we're not 50 feet off the ground hovering over Tolkien.
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
So we're gonna go to our good old fashioned friend, This thing that says that defines what the troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, and all that other good stuff is. Let me find. Now it's all in kilometers. That's kind of weird. I want to find one that's in miles because you guys know miles better, right?
Yeah.
Right.
There we go.
Well, I was gonna
Go
say, I
ahead.
remember at first we flew at 20 miles, and we decided when we looked at a picture of 20 miles that was way too high, so we halved
It's
that, so maybe
super
like
high
10
into the
miles.
friggin' stratosphere. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
yeah.
you're gonna be about
So
10 miles
maybe
high.
like so the 10 miles would probably be good, right, guys? That's like our cruising altitude.
Yes,
Um,
that sounds good to me.
Let me be completely honest with you. I'm kind of lost in all of this sort of lengths and stuff like that.
Super high space. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just gonna have to trust you with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
No problem. Um, so high up that you can still see definable features in the land, right?
Right.
Right. Well, interestingly enough. Oh, and how fast do you guys plan on going?
Um, well, I guess the best way to answer that would be, as fast as we can go while still um, being able to see what's passing underneath us and not stressing the ship out. So I guess whatever a good cruising speed for it would be. We're not in a
Yes.
huge rush, so
Yeah.
Speed. About 10 miles-ish up on high so you can see land. Okay. All right. So, interestingly enough, once you get high and once you start heading towards the southeast, which is the closest bearing to where you guys know where Tolkien is, interestingly enough, no one here has actually been to Tolkien before. None of the current crew members. You're not too sure if the Baron's ever been there, but he's unconscious, so you can't really ask him.
Mhm.
Also, he's from space. But when you get about a solid 50 miles away from Ishpeming, you see, even from on high, a large artery, a large blue artery, which reflects a ley line. And this one is a massive one. Although it's hard to estimate exact size from your height, considering that many ley lines are not completely visible, at least not the smaller ones are visible from this height. The major ones, the large ones, the massive ones, are visible even from space. And from your current height, you are definitely running almost parallel to one of these huge ley lines. And for the remainder of the journey towards Tolkien, it doesn't break, it doesn't diverge off. It intersects with a few others from time to time. But even though the terrain underneath of you changes sometimes from forested land to grassland to farmland to teeny tiny dots of villages or other such settlements, the blue line is the massive blue ley line is still there. It's very consistent. Now, my question to you, let me give me a moment here, guys, because I'm gonna have to kind of bring up a map here. Okay. Because I'm gonna have to take a screenshot of the map and then not, because I need to know. I want to describe some of the area because you're probably gonna want to try to find a good place to land or whatnot. But much like before you entered Ishpeming, I want to give you some choices as to where to land and how close you want to be to the city itself, right?
Yeah.
So I do have some maps, but all of them are kind of close in. So you're going to have to wait for the DM to pause his description here while I get things going.
No worries. Take your time.
yeah, no rush.
So let me just zoom in.
So there is actually supposedly a fairly large storm coming through this way. So if I drop out, that's the reason why.
Okie dokie.
Ooh, maybe it was the one I got earlier. Actually, I don't think it moves that fast.
No.
Probably not.
There we go. Now let's open my good old friend Mr. Paint. That little paste button. JPEG. Save that JPEG over to our Roll20 screen. Ah.
Recently I've tried some local brews of some sodas. They had some interesting flavors. Some of them fairly normal. All of them are made from cane sugar. The basic ones were just like cream soda and root beer. But they also then had ginger beer and
Oh,
black.
ginger beer is awesome.
Yeah, and
Yeah, dude.
black cherry cream soda, which was actually pretty good.
Ooh. That sounds really good.
Okay. So this is a line this is the major ley line that I was talking about, and that's kind of the direction that you guys are traveling. Because you were kind of parked up here ish from Ishpeming. So yeah, you're coming down this way, all right? So I'm not great with distances. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna just give you some broad estimates. Obviously, you don't know what the borders are. There are no like lines on the ground that says you're now entering Tolkien. You know what I mean? So the question is, first and foremost, is in a rough, in an approximation of miles from your destination, how far out do you want to be before you start looking for places to park and conceal the Rhapsody? 20
I
miles? 50
I would
miles? 100 miles?
say I would say pretty far. Let's say at least a day or two's journey. So let's say, um, well, not a day or two's journey. Sorry, I'm thinking wrong speed values.
You're thinking on a horse.
Yeah, I'm thinking on a horse. Yeah, maybe like 100 miles, enough so that someone like they're not going to see us from the city. It's a good distance out. Like the chances of someone randomly running into this area is slim. So I would err on the side of caution.
So
Yeah.
you want to be 100 miles.
Yeah.
Okay. 100 miles will get you to, let me just draw a little square here. A happy little square. Let's make it a happy little bright pinky purple square. It would get you to around something like in this box here. Okay.
Mm.
Okay.
So as you can see from this weird top of the map, there is a major river. Well, it looks like two rivers in the area, and much of this is once again very similar to northern Michigan. There, very very dense forest.
Hmm.
Doubt.
Go ahead.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I doubt unless we can find a lake, we're gonna be submerging the Rhapsody in a river without damming the whole thing.
One
Yeah.
Piph, why don't you roll me a D100, please? Okay.
40.
Uh, if you take just some time to slow down and pass over the general area again, you are able to find two small lakes. One of them looks like it would be able to fit the Rhapsody just barely, and it's going to raise the water level enough that it's going to spill onto the terrain around it, kind of making it a little soggy, so to speak. The other one is also is a little bit smaller, but it can handle the Rhapsody no problem. But it looks like, for whatever reason, perhaps this particular area hasn't got a lot of rainfall or some other, but the lake itself is a little bit on the lower level of things. From your current vantage point, you don't know how deep it goes. So a bit of the Rhapsody might stick out, it might not. You'd have to test it out. Now, Burn, I'd like you to roll me a D100, please.
All right.
Okay,
96.
great. So, we're gonna say maybe both you and Alicia are piloting. Pilot, co-pilot.
Mhm.
And do you have read sensory equipment?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes, I do. Would you like a
Great.
roll?
Could you? Yes, please.
All right. The skill percentage is going to be that. I got a 9 on a 75.
Excellent. You are able to spot a contact on your radar. It's 75 miles out, and at first glance, the first reading appears to be just one dot, but in fact, it seems to be two separate targets, very close together.
Hmm.
They are not going very fast, and they're not headed towards your direction.
Okay.
But they have shown up on your radar.
Okay. I'd like to keep an eye on them, if I can.
Okay. All right. So what decisions, what would you like to do, guys? Would you like to try to park the Rhapsody in one of the rivers, in a large swath of forested area, or do you want to try the small pool, the small lake that might overflow, or the possibly shallow lake?
Well, I'm wondering, guys. So, are we all in agreement that keeping this thing under wraps is of utmost importance?
Yes.
I think we're all on the same page, right?
Yeah, I
Piph?
believe so. No,
Yeah.
man, we
So-
should show the world.
Okay,
What
let's just
about this
land
over
in
here?
Tolkien.
What about this right here?
Hmm.
That would be big enough.
Oh, yeah, that definitely would. If that is a lake.
Oh yeah, that's a lake. But the only question is, here's
Yes,
the
it's a
big
spider
question.
monkey.
Now, we're going to have to engage in some fairness between the GM and the player.
Mhm.
Because my big
Yeah.
question is, how would you know that lake is there?
That was, yeah, my thing was going to say fly around until we find something large that we can
Yeah.
be sure that we will. Because I think if as far as I'm concerned, if we really want to keep the ship safe and unknown, we would take the time, however much it is, to find a place that's not may fit the Rhapsody, but is going to be a good fit for the Rhapsody.
I would totally be down for, or Tom would totally be down for that. If because our choices in that box aren't absolutely the best. They come with some risk, so I wouldn't mind spending some time looking somewhere else.
Mm-hmm. And it's true, we might not find that lake, but the
You want to
concept,
try
I
to find
guess.
other options. You want
Exactly.
to
Yes,
Yeah,
other
outside the
options.
So now, okay, so then my big question, I'll definitely let you guys do another search, no problem. So my only question is in relativeness of that box, do you want to search north of your current area, east, west, or south? And do you want to get closer towards Tolkien, or do you want to get a little bit further away from Tolkien?
I have a thought, and I think in fairness, what we should do is keep this distance, but look either clockwise or counterclockwise. So roll a d2.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should roll a dice on that one because we've already
Yeah.
discussed Big Lake up here.
Yeah.
So to be unbiased on to make my conscience easier, let's let fate decide where we look.
All
Yeah.
right.
So clockwise is 1, counterclockwise is 2. Counterclockwise. So
Counterclockwise.
this
So
direction.
starting here and going like this. Oh,
Yeah.
away from Tolkien. So it's definitely
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
this.
So it's like that.
Okay.
Essentially.
Okay. Now, who hasn't rolled a D100 yet? Squee hasn't
I
rolled a
haven't.
D100 yet. Why don't you roll me a D100, please?
Not true anymore.
Well, look at us. Look at all of us. Look at all us pals. Okay. So Um, takes the other question is you're going? Are you still going cruising speed, or are you slowing down to do a more thorough scan?
I think we'd have to slow down to do a more thorough because we don't want to get
Okay,
lower, so we'll have to slow down.
Yeah,
and
that
really
that sounds good to me.
take out. So great. So because you slowed down, it only takes about 30 minutes of scanning, and you get to this section right here. We're gonna see my little arrow swirling around. And just north of that large-ish river, you do find another lake. And this one seems much wider and fuller. It's definitely a better option. In fact, it is, although not exact, pretty comparable to where you were hiding up in Ishpeming.
That sounds perfect.
Great. So I'll just narratively course through this, if that's okay by you.
Yeah.
Um, hmm?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Whoa, and I moved the map. All right. All right. Screw you, box. Goodbye. See you in hell. All right. So you are able to land the vessel, disembark with everything that you require, and are on your way. So my only question is, are you going to be taking the behemoth? Are you going to be unloading the behemoth, or are you going to do something very similar with Ishpeming and take your own armors and personal vehicles to travel down to Tolkien?
I am almost of a mind to take the behemoth. What do you guys think?
We might want to do that mainly because we want to transport the Baron.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I was gonna say we need to get repairs. We also need a safe facility to store the Baron.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. So behemoth it is.
Okay, so you're going to be taking the behemoth. Great. So before we continue on, someone didn't take a bathroom break before we started,
Squee.
namely me. Yes, Squee. So
God.
unfortunately, we're gonna have to
How
take
did
a
you know?
moment or two, moment or two, so I can take care of business. Be
No,
right
I'll
back.
do the same thing. I'll be right back too.
You were
Yay!
right, Piph. Congratulations.
It was I. I knew it all
It was,
along.
okay.
Now that both of them are away, I can talk about um, Metal Gear Solid 5, which I've been playing recently.
Yeah. Oh, now you understand the reference that I was trying to make when we first got the Rhapsody onto Earth about having a mother base. Right? You get that reference now, right?
Probably not, no.
Did you not unlock mother base yet in Metal Gear Solid 5?
No, I got the thing in the water.
Yeah. Yeah, that was the idea. Just like a floating water thing where we could dock the Rhapsody. That would be awesome.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah. Because then we could just go, oh, let's just put the Rhapsody where it belongs.
I would just
Then just submerge it
assume.
in.
I just assumed you meant that the Rhapsody is our mother base, like a mothership.
No. No.
But
Although it kinda is, I guess. I mean,
so I'm liking the game quite a bit. I'm also liking that I've actually played through it like semi-blind. Like every once in a while, I have to look up something like, "Where's this one stupid diamond that the game wants me to get?" Because it's not showing up anywhere, and it's just like, "Oh yeah, the guys that you look up, they're also not going to help you very much. They're going to use
yeah.
vague things like on the rock."
Yeah.
It's on the rock. You have to get on the rock
Hi.
to then jump, and then you'll get on the rock.
Talking about a
Yeah.
video game?
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid 5 specifically.
Ah.
You actually have a question in chat, Inferno.
Yeah, I already answered it.
Got it.
I got it. Squee not back yet?
Nope.
Oh god, I need to see.
Okay, no big deal. No big deal.
Ooh, that was a big one. Okay.
Let's see.
Sleepy right now.
Yeah.
We'll inject some energy into this, don't you worry.
Who's electrifying who now?
ET.
Um,
All right.
Al's getting electrified by
Oh,
Mila.
Not again. So the Baron, or more specific, well, no, the Baron. He's in a new body, regardless. Is secure in, I believe, the little medical bay that you have set up in the Behemoth. Correct?
Yes.
sure, yeah, we can strap him down there. Yeah.
And once again, we won't spend half the session meticulously going over the inventory. We're going to use the rule of common sense. And I'm going to just continue to describe the Behemoth's travel down towards the free city of Tolkien.
Sure.
Now, let's have Piph as Patrick. Why don't you roll me a D100, please? 10. Okay.
It's my favorite number.
It's a good solid number. It's a good solid number. Hello, Meki, by the way. All right, let's see here. Okay. So out of curiosity, who would be piloting the Behemoth? Who would you like to be piloting the Behemoth?
I believe it would be me. It's either me or Mila, and so I'll say me.
Or
Okay,
me.
great.
Or
Can you-
Blink.
Oh yes. Since the last
Yes.
time, since you've been to space, you've first picked up Blank, who can pilot giant robots, and since then she has taught Tom how to do so as well.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, good. I'm glad I can share the responsibility now.
Are we gonna still say it's you for the sake of this?
Yeah, we'll still say it's me because I assume Tom was just piloting. So
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
I could take a break.
Rhapsody. Okay.
I I was just gonna say we could put Blink on it, because then you could spend your time watching the Baron if you wish. But you can still pilot.
No. He's tied down. Al wouldn't want to spend all his days next to the Baron.
Cool.
So he'll be piloting. Actually, no. You know what? I have a better idea. We could put Blink on it, and it would give Al a chance to test out the new hover bike power armor thing. So, like, he could be flying that next to the Behemoth. Like, give him a chance to test it out before they get to Tolkien.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. So it was early in the afternoon when you departed Ishpeming. Since it was a straight shot, it was only about a 2.5 hour, actually only about 2 hour flight to get to where you rested. This is including landing. Best travel estimates, since this is a pretty densely wooded area with a little bit of compromising terrain, a river that you have to cross here, a few rock faces that you have to either go over or around there. You estimate it'll take you about 8 hours of travel to get down to the city of Tolkien, which means you can either arrive there very late in the evening, probably around midnight or so, or you can take a break and venture off into the morning. But this particular encounter happens in the evening as the sun is slowly beginning to set. It's approximately around 7 o'clock p.m. And you've just finished navigating the Behemoth, over a very, very still riverbed When Al and both Blink notice this, Al, you would just notice it to yourself, and Blink would make the announcement over the radio inside the behemoth vehicle. And she says, "Oh, getting some strange markings around here." And for those who choose to investigate or to head up and see exactly what she's talking about, she stops the behemoth. And just past the gravel stone colored edge of the river, before entering another copse of trees, you see three large wooden pikes sticking up from the ground, and on the top of them appears to be the skull of some strange horned bovine type creature. Massive skulls, approximately 3.5 feet in diameter, with two horns coming straight from the temples of the skull and one smaller horn hooking upwards from the tip where the forehead would be. The skull has a jawline still connected to it, and its bleached teeth are all blunted, unlike the sharp canines of carnivores and omnivores. In addition, above where these skulls have been kind of raised up on these wooden pikes, on the very, very tip above the skull seems to be colored feathers in the colors of red and yellow and oranges, something from perhaps some sort of exotic bird. Is there anything in particular you like to do?
Well, I know Patrick would like to investigate, but mostly since it's such a very unique site, he's most likely going to try to take a picture of it.
Okay. You can get an okay vantage point from the cockpit. But if you really want a good picture, especially with the light preventing any sort of reflection from the view screen that you have, you'd probably want to get out. Well, I don't want to tell you, but you'd have a better shot if you got out of the behemoth.
Um, Patrick would probably take, let's just say, 3 pictures from where he is in the behemoth, and then inform the others that he's going to get a better view and also do some investigation.
Okie doke.
Al would go with him, just to be safe.
So on the hover cycle, or are you going to disembark the hover cycle and go on foot?
It's within walking distance of where we are, right?
Yes, yes. Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't give distances. It's only about 60 feet away from the location of the behemoth.
Okay, yeah. Then Al would disembark and just walk in the power armor with Patrick.
Tom would put on the mystic power armor and head out too.
Okay. Bear will accompany you guys as well. And Alicia and Link will stay in the cockpit with the weapons all lined just in case to keep an eye out for things. August is currently napping, and Mila is far too busy drawing a picture right now to deal with this foolishness.
I'm
Not
sorry.
foolishness, but you know what I mean. Mm-hmm.
The August is currently napping speaks to his character so much.
Tired.
Uh,
Poor August. August. Anyways, poor August, he says. All right. Oh, boo.
wow.
Okay. Awful. So you hit the fresh, cooling air of the wilderness, and when you go to investigate, do you want to kind of go right up to these skulls on these wooden pikes?
He would probably not go directly up to it. Again, he's most likely going to be taking pictures
Sure.
when he can, because for some reason he has a nagging feeling that these may change, so he's going to try to get what he can
Okay.
before something may happen.
Okay. You snap off quite a few pictures. How far away do you want to be? What's your maximum distance you want to be?
Um, I think, let's see, he'd actually be pretty close just going outside the behemoth. But he's probably going to, yeah, step out so there's a good lighting. Get into a nice, like, center wise um, rule of thirds, whatever for photographers use to make the photo look positionally nice. He will probably do that. Um, After snapping a few, he will most likely try to approach them.
Okay. How far out do you want to be? Like, approach them, like, right up next to them?
Um, yes.
Okay. Uh, Patrick, Al. Sorry, Tom, Al. You see Patrick take some pictures, adjust the light, take a few more, and you see him start walking towards the skulls. Do you guys accompany him?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. Patrick, I would like you to roll me two skill checks, please. The first is I believe you have lore, demons, and monsters, right?
Yes.
Okay. The first is that. The second one is, give me a moment. I'm just gonna bring up your character sheet here,
Okay.
so I can browse myself. Because there is anthropology. That's what it is. So anthropology and lore, demons, and monsters. Announce which one you're gonna roll first, and let me know how much you succeed by on each, or fail by, of course.
Um, Demons and monsters,
Okay, succeed
and
by 7.
mhm.
Great.
And then it will be the anthropology.
Wow. Okay. So first speaks to the skull of the creature before you. It is a little strange, for lack of a better word, and you're not 100. It's one of two particular options. It could be the skull of a domestic bovine creature called a crow that somehow has been mutated one way or another. Because crows have the two horns on either side of the temple, but that hooked horn near the center of the forehead is not like that. But they have blunted teeth, and their skull shape and size is a very good approximation to what's before you. So it's either the mutated head of crows, or it is some form of alien um, alien creature that you have not encountered before, a new species, for lack of a better word. Nothing that you have ever read or come across. Now, that speaks to the skulls themselves. The anthropology, however, is unique. Typically, many cultures, both tribal and feral, a variety of influences, typically show or display heads or skulls, either to mark territory or as a way to dissuade individuals from entering a certain perimeter. However, there are two things that are very unique to this that um, go against the common thought. The first is that there's three characteristics of this. Bad. The first is how the pikes themselves are made. They seem to be crafted by a tool using society, tool using culture, because even the rough knots and everything has been smoothed very perfectly, very meticulously. second is that the skulls that are being used, if you are correct in assuming they're Krull skulls, these are the skulls of a, for lack of a better word, herding food source. Now, if this were the skulls of other intelligent sapient creatures, it would be a more aggressive, fending off. But these just simply seem to be passive, dumb creatures. So, uh, which brings to the third point, which is the actual plumage of the feathers on top. You recall reading that certain fairykin like to use bright feathers to mark off their territory. So, your best estimation as to why these stakes are here is that it might be some sort of prank or arts and crafts for some sort of fairy or fairykin creature.
Patrick will do an up close shot of the skulls, and take a quick picture of the plumage. And he's actually just going to just take in where he is at the moment in a sort of wilderness area with with some culture and some just the way of people, and everything seems quite tranquil at the moment, and he's just taking a breath to to sink that all in.
I would like each of you to roll me a d20, please. No modifiers. Tom,
Yes.
you it it it's strange, I'll just say. But with that most recent gust of wind that just blew past you while Patrick is kind of sitting there in some serene silence taking his last few pictures, you could swear you could hear a little giggle on the wind nearby, like maybe to the southeast of you.
I'm gonna tell the rest of the group that he could have sworn that he heard something over there, but it could have just been the wind. I don't know. Maybe I'm going crazy.
What did it sound like?
Giggling.
Sorry, come again?
You heard me. Giggling.
Right. Well, we just fought a horse that wasn't a horse. Maybe I should go check it out. Hal says to himself, shaking his head.
Yeah.
Stay here with Patrick. I'll go take a quick look around.
Sure thing.
And then Inferno, I just like to do kind of like a circular perimeter check.
Or roll me d100, please. Okay. As you're doing your perimeter check, roll me actually no, the 88 is all I need. Sorry.
Okay.
As
No,
you're
it's
doing
fine.
your perimeter check, I'm going to just take a little bit of narrative leeway here and say that you go maybe about towards the direction that Tom was talking about and do like maybe a 50-foot perimeter of that area, right, before coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Not fair? So as you do so, as towards kind of the edge of the foot itself, you hear another giggle in the air. Do you turn your head to kind of figure out where that
Of
where
course,
that
yeah.
sound coming from? Okay. And as you do so, you step into something and it sounds you just hear this awful kind of squishing noise. And as you look down, it is clear that you stepped into what at first you thought was mud, but turns out to be a giant pile of dung. And
Mhm.
in the actual mud, in front of you, by the river, you see this makeshift sketch of a stick figure stepping in a pile of refuse drawn in the ground. The drawing is very childlike and rushed.
Okay. Um, he'll look at it, look at what he's standing in, step out of it, mostly unconcerned, um, and then kind of take a hop jump back to where the guys are.
As you're hopping towards there, Patrick, you sense some movement off to the north slightly. Just the rustle of some leaves of a bush nearby. Is it fair to say that you look towards that direction out from the corner of your eye?
Yes.
Okay. Now, as you do, you can still see the leaves kind of moving to and fro, to and fro. But you see what appears to be a large on the ground, on the rough, kind of grassy, muddy ground. See a huge leaf, and inside the leaf seems to be a mix of small berries. Red, like deep red, purple, and blue berries.
Huh. um, Patrick, with a mischievous smile on his face, um, is going to point at the leaf and command it to arise.
Okay. Moment. All right. Al, as you go hopping back towards where Tom and Patrick is, Patrick, that leaf begins to hover into the air as your amulet has caused it to levitate. About 5 feet from the ground. And do you want to bring it towards yourself, or just have it float in the air?
He's just having it float into the air at the moment. Um,
Okay.
I'm unsure if levitation can actually bring me
Move it.
anything. I think
Yeah,
it just
probably.
just go up and down.
Yeah. Okay.
um, Patrick is going to be looking around to see if anything else happens from the rustles of leaves or it rising up.
You hear another giggle, and this one is loud enough that everyone hears it. It's not during a wind blowing. It sounds light and childlike.
Okay.
Al will land back near them and kind of shake one of his feet, and he'll say, "Well, there's definitely something here." Patrick, you ever heard of someone that could draw something in the ground and make a person do whatever they drew?
Mila?
Yeah, Mila.
No, basically, I landed in a pile of dung, and on the ground in front of it was a hastily drawn figure of a person landing in a pile of dung.
Tom's just breaking down.
And Okay. You obviously need to spend more time in a forest if stepping in a pile of poop is funny to you. Uh, point still remains. Do you
No,
know of anything that could do that?
that they made you do that. That's what's funny.
Okay.
You stepped in poop.
Very mature, Tom. Very mature. Patrick, is there anything that you've ever heard of before?
um, you know what? Patrick is not going to take this question lightly. He is actually going to go through his memory banks and try to figure out if there's anything that can make people do things with drawing.
Roll me a little magic, please.
Yeah. Okay.
By 10. The concept is not impossible, but you've never heard or read it being in practical use.
Patrick will think for a bit and go, "No, I haven't heard anything like that." Are you sure that wasn't just drawn so it's shown intent?
Oh. I'm not sure of anything, especially considering what just happened. It might have been somehow drawn after I did it, though considering that I noticed it a split second after it happened, that'd have to be a pretty quick whatever it was.
Little thought experiment. What if the thing lured you into stepping into the poo and drew it before you did that? Like, not even like a split second, more of like a.
It's definitely possible. I heard a giggle and turned towards it, but I'd have to be really lucky for a simple giggle to be sure enough to make me do exactly what they thought I was going to do. It's definitely possible, though, and now that I think about it, possibly even more likely than someone forcing me to do something through pictures.
That would be interesting.
That would be a really, really interesting power to have.
In any case, whatever it is obviously not trying to kill us, otherwise it would have hit me with more than that. And the giggling, I think that we have some sort of prankster on our hands.
Yeah, probably.
Everyone roll me a D100, please.
Oh boy.
2! Wow!
Yeah, I rolled a 2.
Damn!
And Patrick, you got the 98?
Yeah.
Okay. While you guys were talking, Tom is the first to notice. But underneath the center pike with the strange skull and feathers on it, there's a drawing there that wasn't there before. And the drawing, once again, very similar to what Al first saw, seems to be a hastily drawn imprint into the mud, probably with a stick or maybe the tip of a finger. And it is the picture of. Okay, I'm trying. Oh, wait! I'm going to draw it. That's what I'm going to do. Underneath the map, I'm going to draw what you see.
Oh boy.
drawing is.
Huh. So I think it's saying to give the berries to the elf?
Well,
To Al? I
there's
guess?
certainly something. Actually, Inferno, I have a question
Yeah.
as a player. I'm
Uh-huh.
in fully enclosed body power armor. So does it still have the elf ears and everything?
Oh.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
No. Oh, no. As
Wait,
in,
no, I'm
your
saying that
head
the
is...
picture has the elf ears though.
Yes.
Okay, then Al would say, well, it somehow knows I'm an elf even though it can't see me. That's unusual.
Hmm.
Wait,
know,
you
this
guys
is a
suss
very
this out real quick. I'm gonna send Criana a message.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure.
do that. Um, I just want to say that this is a silly place.
Al
Very
shrugs.
silly place.
He's like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Compared to what we face in the wilderness, I don't mind someone playing jokes on us. If I have to clean some berries off my face mask, I'll be fine. Al says, eyeing the thing full of berries.
Okay,
Al says,
so
he
I
also says, I'm not
guess
saying do it.
as Tom was reaching out to the berries to throw at Al. Oh, okay. Well, the picture is pretty clear. I think it wants you to either eat it or just shove it in your face or something. So,
I'm much more interested to see if this happens if we don't voluntarily do it.
hmm.
See, it's not impressive if it's just telling us what to do and we follow it. I mean, I can draw
I
things on the
guess.
ground.
Go for it. Here, and Tom will try and find a stick. Here's a stick.
Al will take the stick and kind of smooth over the frown of the elf and turn it into a smile.
You look kind of evil. You look kind of evil while doing that.
It's the weirdest smile ever. though Al is not an artist, so
Yeah, you don't have the art skill, dude.
Nope.
You can't. Okay. You
Actually,
do that.
I do.
I know you
And
do,
I will-
but you're not the one drawing in the mud.
nope.
I will remark to Al, dude, that's a really shitty smile. I mean, you could have put more effort into it.
Al, you can't see Al's face, but his mask is staring at you quietly.
What?
Okay. You
Eh.
draw that on the ground. You hear the whisper of the wind. Feathers float in the breeze a bit. Some moments pass. Doesn't seem to be anything to be happening.
Well,
Although I am going to have each of you roll me another D100, please.
okay. Rolling.
Patrick, nearabouts where you saw those leaves first rustle, the ones in front of, or I guess behind the now still hovering leaves in the air, you can see one single through the sorry, I'm backing up on my description. Through the foliage itself in that bush, you definitely see one single sparkling like like a deep yellow eye. Very big, like an owl eye. And it's peering right at you and your friends.
Um,
Oh, I got a voicemail too that I missed. Whoops.
Ha.
Sorry. I'll check that later.
Patrick will think for a moment and and say to Al, "Well, do you want the berries?"
No. I am not in the habit of eating berries I know nothing about. Though Al just kind of shrugs. I'm not going to eat them unless you. No, you know what? I'm not taking my helmet off here either.
But I mean, the picture though.
Uh huh. I could draw a picture of you running naked through the behemoth. Would that make you do it?
No.
You
Maybe.
can't see Al raising an eyebrow. Al says, I'm all for playing along with pranks, but I'm not going to do something that is potentially dangerous."
Look. We're trying to go to Tolkien, which is a magical place. I don't know the rules here, okay?
Yeah, Al says, he shrugs. He says, "All right, I'll bite." And he just takes one of the berries and just pushes it against his mask and drops it.
Let me think here for a moment. All of you hear a small, tinny voice. Very, very soft. Very careful, saying, "No fair."
No fair. What do you mean no fair?
Oh, I get it. Let's see if this is fair. And Patrick will wander over to the berries, pick one up, look at Al, and toss it at his head.
You at Al's head?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Al
Sorry.
takes it, actually, kind of understanding what Patrick was doing from the moment he said, "Oh, I get it." Al will cheerfully, though a bit dryly, say, "I fail to see how that's fair too."
So, so you're not trying to dodge the berry?
No. He's gonna just
No.
take it. He's pretty sure that someone's just playing a game, and as long as they're not malicious, he's fine playing along.
And you hear another giggle. This time, though, it's not coming from the bush anymore. And it says, "No, eat."
And Al will say in a very gentle voice, or I guess like he's not talking down, but still kind of talking to a child. He'll say, "But I don't know what they are. They might be harmful to me."
Oh. That's all you hear is no.
You know what? Let's see if Patrick knows what these berries are.
Okay.
I have, let's see, wilderness survival is pretty apt for this.
What is Patrick wearing?
I was thinking about the gold armor thing, if he actually was prepared for such things. That's what I would believe he would wear. Otherwise, it would probably just be his normal garb.
I'm letting you make the decision since we were just all narrative. Don't worry about it.
He's most likely wearing his gold armor.
Pull in. Sure, yeah. Oh, sorry. Mm-hmm.
Let's do wilderness survival skill check for the berries. I believe that is it's either that or botany.
I'll leave it up to you.
I think wilderness survival.
Okay. That was your skill check there, 27?
Yep.
Great. You recognize these berries. Now on closer inspection, they are blueberries, wild raspberries, and what seems to be some sort of a chote berry, which is not, you don't think was native to Earth, but they're very edible. In fact, the chote berries are the sweetest of the bunch.
Well, they're not naturally poisonous.
Al kind of sighs. Oh.
Just eat them.
How difficult or easy is it to take off the helmet of a terrain hopper?
Not the most difficult thing in the world. There's a hatch in the back that you have to flip open. And other than that, it just pulls off your head like a motorcycle helmet.
Okay. Al will do it, and he'll kind of like he'll shake his head, thinking he still had long hair because he's still not quite used to the short hair.
Yep.
Maybe look a little silly doing it, and then he'll take a handful of the berries and put them in his mouth and chew.
Great. They the mix of berries in your mouth are sweet and fresh and clean, and they go down no problem. Roll me a d20, please.
All right.
Great. They fill your stomach.
Al will swallow and nod, and he'll say, "Thank you. I don't have anything to give you in return."
All you hear is just a little
Al starts to put his helmet back on.
So, we're looking for Tolkien. Do you know where it is?
I'd like you to roll me a d100 there, Tom.
49.
So you hear a reply and then another giggle.
Great.
Al will say, "My name's Al. What's yours?"
And it's a long while, but eventually on... Oh, hi, Criana. Hi, Criana. Hi.
Hello.
Honor, we've met you, but invisible.
What?
Don't confuse Criana when she just woke up.
Look. If it drew dicks in the dirt, it would be a dead match. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, let me give you a breakdown on what happened real quick, Criana, okay?
Can I?
The current situation.
Can I?
You ready?
quick-
You good? You braced?
Can I?
Uh-huh.
Quick just? Because I was so confident in myself that I'd wake up, but I must have turned my alarm off in my sleep. Can I just tell everyone what you texted me, Inferno?
Yes.
The first text says, "Criana, period. Wake up." The second text says, "It's time for an adventure." The third text says, "And unicorns." And the very last text is named Leon.
Well, that's
Well,
one
it
way to
worked.
get Criana.
I thought the last text was going to be like, but no unicorns.
You're
But not
fired.
really.
It's like,
Yeah.
what?
And you're fired. So the group has flown towards Tolkien. They've landed about 100 miles away. They parked the Rhapsody in a lake, and they're traveling in the Behemoth towards Tolkien. They stopped when they saw a kind of a strange little edifice in the middle of the woods by a riverbank of 3 wooden pikes with these strange kind of DB skulls on it, which Patrick identified as perhaps like a type of alien cow called a krull or something like that, with these big feathers on it.
Wow.
Soon enough, they hear kind of like a giggle in the wind, and Al goes to investigate, and he ends up accidentally stepping in a big pile of animal dung, and nearby there's a drawing of someone stepping in animal dung nearby. As he's hopping back towards Tom and Patrick, and we can say Mila comes out of the behemoth during this time as well. I was just saying you're drawing at this point, and maybe everyone's taking a really long time, so you're gonna maybe find out what's going on or whatever. But as Al's hopping back, Patrick notices a little bit of movement off to one side by a bush, and the big leaf with a bunch of these berries are left on it. Kind of levitates the berries up, and they hear a few more giggles. And as they're discussing what they want to do, sure enough, nearby them, another picture is found, which is this expert drawing in the mud. Very childlike, which means I can draw it no problem, very authentically. of that, clearly. And now, originally, it was the person on the left was giving a frowny face, but Al changed it to be a happy face. But and sure enough, with Tom and Patrick's kind of goading, they're like, it wants you to eat the berries. And so Al kind of eats the berries, and they taste really good. And they keep hearing these like giggles and a few words, and they're trying to communicate with this creature. The only thing they've seen is a single big yellow, like golden eye, kind of in the bushes nearby. And it's around 7 o'clock at night. The sun's kind of starting to set. It's starting to get a little bit later in the day. But that's where we left off, actually, with them trying to communicate with this thing. And the last question was Al asking what this thing's name was, and Tom asking, we're trying to get to Tolkien. Do you know where it is? Both answers have kind of been answered with little like giggles and like type of noises.
Okay.
So Al's BRB, but we'll get back into this. So do you want to be put into the scene? Because we can place you into the scene, no problem.
Everyone's outside right now, or?
Yeah, well, most people are outside.
Well,
Bear's outside. August, Alicia, and Blink are inside the behemoth still.
Okay. I'll insert myself. I kind of want to get a feel for the scene a bit more, and then I'll
Sure.
butt in.
I also want to highlight the fact that August is asleep. He's taking
having
a
a
nap.
Oh, that's okay.
Apparently, everyone's like, "Oh, that's so August." I'm like, "Really? Okay."
So, I thought, is that a kick at me, guys? That I'm like August because I took a nap.
No.
No.
You want to fight? This is me hopping up and down like that stupid-looking black and blue bird.
Okay. I just sat down. I don't know what it's about, but I'll fight you.
You'll fight anyone.
So like
Ow.
you.
All right. So, yeah. So far, your answers, the answers to your questions have been met with shy little mumbles. Call them.
Al says, "You sound like a Samantha to me. Is that your name?"
I don't think you heard me say no. No.
Oh, okay. No, sorry.
The starting threshold on this makes
Yeah.
it hard for me to say little words, but that's okay. She says no, or
I
it
will
says
say-
no.
Hey, I could call you Giggles.
Oh,
Al looks at the others.
Yeah.
Um,
Roll me D100, Patrick. You do not have enough empirical evidence to deduce what the heck this thing might be. Creature might be. Is it alright if an NPC throws in something here?
Sure. Yeah, Al would just keep guessing until someone stops him.
Oh, God.
Bear will say softly to all of you, and he says, "It is not harmful. It might be a spirit of the forest. I have heard of sprites and fairies. Perhaps this is one of them. It is shy, though. Maybe it is scared."
Al. Oh, I...
Patrick will cock his head a little bit and then plop down on the ground and grab a nearest stick,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to start drawing stick figures, and he's gonna try to like hunch over it a little bit so it's semi hidden.
Okay.
Let's see if I can freehand. This guy looks like a brown.
Oh, you're gonna draw it too?
No.
Oh my god, this is like Rift's Pictionary. This is great.
Yeah.
You guys could do other things. This is probably gonna take a bit.
Okay.
Mila will come busting out holding paper in her hand, and she'll go, "Bear! Bear! 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 Bear!
Yeah,
Bear! Bear! Bear!
Alright,
Bear!"
when you get closer, when you get a little bit closer, he's gonna kind of raise a paw to like for you to be a little bit quiet because he's concerned that you're gonna scare this creature off or interfere with what Patrick is doing.
Mm.
But he'll just say, "What?
I drew you a picture.
Oh,"
Is
he says.
Patrick drawing you a picture?
"No," Bear says. "We have encountered some sort of creature here, and we're attempting to communicate with it."
Okay, well, I drew you this picture. Mila will like just kind of disregard what you said and like move over to Bear, and
Okay.
she holds up a picture, and it's Bear, and he's riding what appears to be a unicorn, but it's a disgruntled unicorn with
Uh-huh.
an eye patch and a cigar, and they're
Mhm.
riding, and there's a little rainbow in the background and clouds, and it's very nice. If I do say
Oh.
so myself. I mean, stick figures,
And
but
Bear
nice.
says so. Bear says it is very nice. And Bear pauses for a moment, and he looks at it, and he says, "Can I keep this?"
Of course, Bear, it's a gift.
He says, and you kind of see a flash in his dark eyes, and he moves over to Patrick to see what he's drawing.
Milo will hunch over Patrick.
While Patrick was drawing, Al would say again to whoever he's trying to talk to,
Mhm.
"Is that it? Are you shy because we're scary?"
Just hear kind of the wind blowing a little bit, the sound of the babbling brook, and on the whispers of the wind and the babbling brook itself, You hear a soft no.
Oh, good. I'd hate to be scary.
Al, you're not scary. Mila will say, listening to you, and like, kind of like, she'll shrug and she'll look at you.
Al will say a little exaggerated, not in like a mean or condescending way, but like more animated than usual. Why, thank you, Mila.
I mean, Al, when I think of scary things, I think of things with big teeth.
I certainly don't have those.
No, you don't. Anyway, this is boring. Mila will like look around.
Jesus, give me a moment. God says, calm your tits, Mila.
She kind of scratches her arm and she'll look back at Patrick. He's not even sharing. He doesn't want anyone to draw. I mean, Bear thought I was good.
Al will hand Mila the stick that Tom handed him to draw with.
She will excitedly take it from you.
Everyone's. Oh my god, no. Oh, good. I was really worried for a moment. I was super worried. We're in character, so we should be okay. Okay.
Can I just say, I love how my ears are more like little nubs.
So, um, so Patrick, as you kind of finish up your drawing there, as you and Mila start drawing into this, into the dirt, Tom and Al, you notice about 70 feet in front of you, by some foliage, see a rustle of leaves. Then you see a single golden eye peeking out. Then you see a second big owl-like huge golden eye peer out curiously from the foliage. As the pair continue to draw, you see what appears to be a light purple-headed humanoid face pop out of the greenery. Its face is large and apple-shaped, completely bald, with the exception of what appears to be moss-like growths on the top of its head. Its huge yellow eyes dominate most of its face. It has a small, smushed-in nose like that of a pug, and has a tiny, tiny mouth as well. Peers at the drawings. And Bear, in between Patrick's drawing and Mila's drawing, he sets down the picture that Mila recently just drew. It takes a step back. Can I continue on with the description, or do you guys want to do or say anything at this
By
point?
all means,
Go for it.
Yeah. Okay. And sure enough, this curious face comes out, and sure enough, a body emerges as well. It is only about 2.5 feet tall, very childlike in stature. But its torso and its belly is big and plump, and its arms and legs are equally plump and well fed. It's wearing what appears to be stitched together hides covering most of its torso and lower body area. completely barefoot, nothing on its hands except caked in mud on that and its feet. It starts to kind of, with a little tiny, like mischievous smile on its tiny mouth and its big eyes just looking from each of you, begins to inch closer and closer and closer towards you and the pictures. And it stops about 15 feet in front of you, and it gets up right on its tippy toes to kind of look over and look at the pictures. He says, it, I should say, because you're not too sure the gender of this childlike creature. He says, I've seen that before. He points to the picture of that Mila just drew of Bear riding Leon and the picture that she just drew in the mud. And then he pauses for a moment. He looks to the other one and he says, I'm going to just say he for the sake of simplicity. Oh, no, I should be accurate. Sorry, it says, what's Ike Crane?
Oh, it's a sugary cold treat.
You have Ike cream?
Don't believe we have any more of that. But we do have others. Sure, we.
Kind of looks down at its feet and it kind of squirms its big toe in the mud and he says, sorry I made you step in it. I thought it was funny, but you look sad. Don't want to make Elfkin sad. Elfkin nice. Elfkin good to forest.
Al like takes his helmet back off and kind of squats down and says, "No, no, no, no. I wasn't sad. It was a little funny."
It was really funny, it says with a giggle.
Al nods. It was really funny.
See, Al, it was really funny, wasn't it?
Al holds up a finger behind him towards Tom.
You
Wow. Wow, it was funny. Mila says, like, looking around, kind of
Al stepped
acknowledging.
in poop.
Oh, Mila, like, gets, like, this little smile on her face, like, that's gross.
Mm-hmm.
I am thankful for the berries.
Oh, you like them?
Yes, they were delicious.
Good. It kind of looks away to the side a little bit. Once again, it kind of puts its toes, squishing the mud in between its toes a little bit as it makes that, that slurpy, bloppy noise. He says, the others make fun of me, and I don't get to play as often as I like.
Who makes fun of you?
Cousins, they just like to dance and sing, and they don't let me join anymore. They say I did a bad thing, and so I can't play with them anymore. And I thought I made a new friend last week, but he said bad words to me and then ran away.
I see. Well, did you mean to upset him?
No. He just was asking me questions I didn't know and said words of things I didn't get, and I wanted to play with him. I wanted to get on his back like you did, and he didn't let me. And he started asking about scary monsters, and it shakes its head a little bit, and its big eyes kind of look down sad. And he says, "I don't like talking about scary monsters."
Did he have
Oh.
an eye patch?
What? What's that?
A, th- a thing
Covering over one
covering.
eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I asked him if he hid berries in there, and he said another bad word.
Alex sighs. He goes, "Don't worry about him. He's just grumpy."
You're
Well,
not grumpy though.
No. Well, I try not to be.
Can you? You're elfkin. Maybe you can. Can you talk to my cousins and have me join them in again, please?
Al's mouth kind of hangs open.
Patrick turns to you with a. He's smiling, with slightly larger than normal eyes.
No. Al's going to open his mouth, close it, open again to say something, and say, "I tell you what, I'm not very good at being an elf, but I can try to talk to them."
I, I suck at being an and it it nods a little bit and it says, they like to dance at night when the moon is in the water. So wait until then.
Al nods and he sits down and he says, "But if I'm going to talk to them, I need to know what upset them."
They, um he said, he pauses for a moment. He says, they wanted me to dance, and I normally like dancing, but when I started dancing, they said I was too slow and I could only come back when I was faster. But I can't get faster, so they'll never let me dance again. And I got angry and I said bad words like that one, and he points to the picture of Leon the unicorn, like that one did, and they didn't like that. So now I don't get to play with them.
Leon, why?
I know he learned it from Leon.
Oh, that's so sad.
Al nods and he says, "Oh, I can certainly talk to them. I might be able to help with you. You know, I know someone who was a lot like you. There were things they couldn't do that everyone else could, and it made them sad and angry sometimes, but we always forgave her in the end. People get angry sometimes, but I can't imagine that they would close themselves off to you forever. I'll talk to them."
Okay, it says with a bit of a smile. And once again, it runs off into forest, dives back behind the bushes. It takes another peek with a big yellow eye towards you.
Al gives it a reassuring smile.
Okay.
And then when he can't see it anymore, Al's like, "What have I gotten myself into?"
I don't know.
Al looks at the others and he goes, "So, um, objections if we wait till nightfall?"
Mila says, looking up from her drawing.
He's asking if it's okay to help out.
Oh.
The little guy.
Yeah, okay. I don't mind.
Al will say, okay, oh, what time of day is it right now? It's in the evening, right?
Now it's like 7:15.
Al says, well, then I suppose we'll just wait here. And he finds a stick and starts doodling on the ground. Sitting very awkwardly in power armor.
Anything else you guys want to particularly do? I can move ahead till, it gets to be dark.
Yeah,
I'm
good
gonna go
move.
back on the behemoth and play with Hannibal.
Okay.
Yeah.
Relax your face.
Okay.
Patrick is enjoying the outdoors at the moment, but at the same time, you see him stop drawing and sit there, and every once in a while wave his hand after plugging something into the back of his head and taking off his helm.
Wave his hand isn't how, like...
Similar to him sliding a block that does not exist from one place to the other in the air.
Oh, okay, I see. So, from Al's perspective, it looks like he's trying to swipe at something that isn't in front of him.
Pretty much.
Right.
Al will look at him from time to time. And then Al will think, oh, we don't have any guitars anymore, do we?
Oh no, I do.
Don't. You do?
Yes.
Al would,
I'm
okay,
done.
at some point, Al would ask if he could borrow your guitar then. Saying
Electric
that
or
if they like
acoustic?
acoustic, if they like to dance,
Go
they
for
might
it.
like music.
Go for it.
And Al will take the guitar and make sure it's tuned and practice. Actually, sure, he'll spend the time practicing Elfie songs, which I'm going to be honest, he doesn't know what an Elfie song is.
Yeah, there's no such thing.
Nope.
You only know the songs
So-
that you know.
Racist.
So I would think something like Celtic acoustic guitar or new agey, that kind of thing that you'd expect to hear in the babbling brooks of a forest.
Okay.
Sure.
How long do you want to
And
play
death
for?
metal.
Long do you
Until nighttime, like not like until his fingers bleed, but that's how he passes the time.
Okay.
Just strumming away on his acoustic guitar. Let the
Mhm.
bodies hit the floor. Let the bodies hit the floor.
Mila will actually just start singing along to whatever Al plays.
All right. So I'm gonna speed up until and wait for the sun to set. Is it okay if I just move on ahead then?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So the behemoth is parked nearby, but I'll let I know Al and Mila for sure are outside, but I'll let Patrick and Tom, put themselves wherever they want in a reasonable area. But as night falls, it is about 2 hours after dusk. Now, would Tom and Al, this is up till it's about 11 o'clock at night, so would you be playing for 4 straight hours?
No,
Okay.
it would be more like on and off. When he gets tired, he'd stop, and when
Okay.
he wants to play again, he would. That kind of thing.
So during one of your breaks, about 100 feet down the river, which, by the way, is a very small, almost a well, it's a very small river, actually almost more like a creek, just slightly wider and deeper, but it's not very fast flowing whatsoever. And you see, at first, a single kind of glow or reflection, a pale reflection as the moon starts to shine through the clouds overhead. And as it illuminates the top of the riverbed, see a few more of these little tiny, kind of white, yellowish, silvery kind of glows. As these glows kind of bob over the water.
Al would look at that, and then he'd make sure the others saw it too, and he'd say, "You think that's our cue?"
I guess.
You hear what sounds, for a moment, a tinny sound of like a very, like almost like a harp, and what sounds to be like a wooden flute start to play.
Al would pick up his gauntlets, which of course he would have had to have taken off to play guitar. I don't think the terrain armor is that dexterous. And attach probably that and his helmet to his belt somehow, so that he can carry it with him, but he's not wearing them.
Okay.
And then start heading towards the sound of the music with his helmet off, so that his face is showing, and carrying the guitar.
Okay. What about the rest of you?
Mila will follow. I don't think she kind of fully realizes why we've been waiting outside. She knows that we were gonna help him, but they just started playing music and she got distracted with that.
Patrick?
I'm gonna go in my new red and black robes.
All right.
No
Yeah,
armor.
trick.
Patrick will look on to his friends going and meeting this. Patrick will most likely think to himself that I think they would probably be bothered by too large of a group, and decides to just sit back where
Okay.
he is.
All right. So, Mila, Al, you start walking down the river towards these little glowing lights and the sounds of this music. And sure enough, when you get about 50 feet away, the glow of the moon and the proximity of you allows you to get a much better look at these creatures. Dancing along on top the water are these small humanoid creatures. They have a dark gray-green complexion. They have jet black hair, and all of them are sporting these luminous blue and silver gossamer wings. They are only 6 inches tall, and with the exception of wearing a belt with what appears to be looks like little wooden daggers and swords on them, they are entirely in the buff. And one of them has what appears to be a small wooden lute, a lyre or a harp, made out of, and the strings are made out of some sort of hair, a wooden harp, and the other one appears to have this wooden flute that it's playing. And as they dance along the along the water, one of them, a female, quickly spots you and flies up in the air and says, "Big ones, big ones, big ones are here." "Oh, big ones," shouts the entire chorus of what appears to be about 15 of these little spirits, as they begin to fly and swarm and dance around each of you, of each Tom and Al and Mila. Are they nasty? Don't know. Let's find out. What does it have? Sweets, maybe. Sweets for dance.
Hello.
Elfkin says hello, but not in elder speech. Alumine, Elfike. Uno danka? And they all giggle.
Al shakes his head and he says, I'm not a very good elf.
Elfike no kune. They laugh and they switch back to American as he says, "Not good elf, not good elf. What's in its hands? Let's find, let's find." And 6 of them begin to swarm. 3 of them towards your guitar case, and 3 of them swarm towards the I guess you said you had your belt or your kind of bandolier in your hand, right?
Well, no, the my gloves and helmet.
Oh, gloves and helmet. Yeah, towards the gloves and helmet.
Al would say, well, we heard your music and we wanted to ask if we could join you, maybe make music with you.
Big music, even elf music, not good to dance to. Too slow, too slow. And one of the fairies, a young male. Oh, hey, spoiler alert, they're fairies.
Oh.
Because I never said the word fairy until this very second. But yes,
Yes.
they're clearly small, 6 feet, 6-inch tall creatures with wings. They're fucking fairies.
Now that you mention it, it makes sense.
But one of them, a male, hovers right in front of Mila's face, and he says, "Can you dance? Can you dance, big one? Do you think you could dance like us?"
I can certainly try.
Try. Okay.
And Al says, oh, sorry.
And sorry, I just want to engage all the players because there's 15 of these fairies, right? And they're swarming you guys, kind of in one way or another. And 4 fairies hover right in front of Tom, and it says, "Look at me! Look at me! I'm moonlight! I'm moonlight! I'm moonlight! I am moonlight!" And like each of them keep saying that they are moonlight.
Oh
Can
my
you find
god.
the true moonlight? And then they begin to spin around your head, Tom, like incredibly fast. And as they do so, they begin to pull your hair.
Hey, hey.
Big, funny, stupid noise. Find moonlight, find moonlight.
He's gonna try and point at one of them while they're spinning so fast. He's probably gonna. He's not gonna try and purposefully hurt them, but he might accidentally.
Roll me a d20, please.
Okay. 8.
8. Give me a moment.
Just like poke one of them.
Respond,
You-
I am Groot.
No, you do bring a finger up to try to point at one of them, and it might actually hit them, but they quickly dance and dodge and float out of the way. One last thing before I get back to you, Squee, if that's okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Is actually two things. Mila, you feel some movement towards your left by your pack.
Mila will reach for her pack.
And as you reach for your pack and bring it in front of you, you see 3 pairs of legs sticking out of one of the pockets with wings fluttering as you hear muffled noises like, "Find the sweets, find it, something shiny, it needs to pay."
What? Mila says, putting the pack in front of her face. What are you doing in there?
The legs disappear inside your pack.
Mila shrugs and puts the pack down at her side again.
Okay. All right, one last thing before we switch back to you, Squee. Thanks for your patience. Is Patrick, I'm going to assume you're kind of hanging around the original area where Mila and Al were camped out, right?
Yes.
So these guys are only about 50 feet away or so. So you can kind of, although you're not going to be able to hear everything that the fairies say, you can definitely see pretty clearly what's going on. So you're not completely in the dark when it comes to these happenstances.
All right.
I'd also like you to roll me a D100. Okay. Although there were a great volume of books in the New Laszlo Library in having to do with fairies and fairykin and fairy types of lore, and unfortunately you didn't have a chance to study nearly as many as you could, you do know enough to know 2 key things. One, that they're fairies, although you're not too sure exactly what the type are. And 2 is an old adage, which is, be wary of the gifts of a fairy.
Oh man, they're like the fucking fairies from Ireland. They're like little troll things that are gonna kill us, aren't they? God
I don't
damn
know.
it.
You don't know Patrick's head.
No, this is just Criana talking.
If that's the case,
Girls.
absolutely, they are going to kill you.
Anyways, back to you and what you wanted to say there, Al. As one of the fairies by your hand that has the gauntlets and the helmet, one of them starts pulling at the thumb of the gauntlet, trying to like take the gauntlet from your hand, while the other ones start dancing on top of your guitar case, laughing and pointing at you.
Al would say, I don't know. I can play pretty fast.
That's what they all say. Go ahead, play.
All right. Al will take out the guitar and try
What
to
is
play.
that? Is that what you're going to play on?
Yes.
And the fairies that are around you laugh, and like almost in a mean-spirited way, as it says, "If you don't play fast enough, you have to give us something."
Al looks at them and says, he pauses and he goes, fair enough.
Good. You give us what you play if it's not fast enough, and we'll make it better.
This isn't mine to give, though.
It's in your hands. It's in yours to give.
Al looks at Tom.
If you recall correctly, Tom is greatly distracted right now.
Al
Yeah,
thinks to
you
himself,
can see a bunch of fairies buzzing around his head, pulling at his hair and giggling.
I'm the moon.
Al thinks to himself, I can just buy him a new one, I guess. And he goes, fair enough.
Good. Well,
And-
play.
Al will try to play a very fast song as fast as he can.
one of the flute players, as you begin to play the song, one of the flute players goes right up to your ear and plays a really, really high, loud note in it. And as soon as that happens, your top guitar string breaks.
Okay. I assume this would take a massive skill check. Al is going to do his best to adjust like it never happened.
Sure, I don't know if a massive skill check
Well,
is
yeah.
necessary. There is a penalty, but yes, use your guitar performance skill, which is the first. No, wait, you've done this many times. Not this particular situation, but you've played the guitar requiring the skill before.
I failed
right.
horribly. I failed by 20.
Yeah, I know. And the fairy with the flute laughs at you, spins on top of your head, makes some farting noises with its mouth, while the other fairies laugh. And as it flies away, it says, "No, too slow. Give now, give."
No, I
As
think I was fast enough. You never said who decided if it was too fast or too slow. I think I was plenty fast.
not fair. Elfkin is a cheat. We don't
You
like cheats, do we? No, no,
You
no.
broke my guitar
We
string.
take. We take now. And now, good news, with the exception of the fairies that have disappeared inside Mila's pack, Tom, the fairies around you have dissipated, and the one that was challenging Mila in front of its face flies away as they all move towards Al. And 201 start their little hands start flying, and they coat around. They start making grab. They start grab at the guitar.
Al will very calmly and patiently say, "You purposely snapped my guitar string. If anyone's cheating here, it would be you. However,
Cheater, 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 cheater,
Cheater,
cheater,
cheater, cheater, cheater, cheater, cheater, cheater, cheater. Mila will join.
Mila, you're awesome. Cheater, 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 cheater,
Cheater,
cheater,
cheater, cheater, cheater, cheater, cheater, cheater,
As,
cheater.
as the guitar starts, like, they start pulling the guitar from your hands.
he's going to hold on to it as tight as he possibly
All right,
can.
roll me a d20, please.
All right.
Boy.
You managed to take it from your grasp.
Al looks at it and looks at them, knows that he's probably has no chance in heck of getting it back. I'm assuming they're taking it like above him or away from him. Or
Yes,
something.
yes, get away from them. They're flying it above, and they say, too big, too bulky, too big. Doesn't work. I know. Let's see if it swims. Yes, let's see if it flounders. Yes, let's see if it dives. Let's see, let's see, let's see. And they begin to float it around the about 20 feet into the sky and towards the south of you, and they drop the guitar into the river.
Al says, not staring away from him, says, "Tom, I owe you a new guitar."
Guitar.
Tom does not respond to you verbally. He is just frowning.
And as the guitar starts to float down the river, they begin to play and dance around the floating, swimming guitar in the river. They say, come dance now.
Al shakes his head and he says, "You know, I think I've decided that our little friend can do better than them."
That's not your decision, Mila says, raising an eyebrow.
Al looks at Mila and says, "Do you even know what we're talking about?"
Cheater, 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 cheater.
And they start singing the word cheater as lyrics to their song as they begin to dance. And they
Oh,
giggle.
Mila
And
will
they-
join in the singing of the cheater song.
And one will say sprig leaf, and another fairy will say dayfly, and the other one will say tumbleweed. Come out. She's okay. She's okay. And out of curiosity, I know you've kind of described this once before, but what are some of the common items that Mila has in her pack on a day-to-day basis?
Oh my lord. There's gonna be probably like leaf residue, like stuff she's collected for tea. A lot of like broken like crayons or like color pencil type things in there. A couple rocks that maybe are, I don't know, they're just rocks, like they don't look cool or anything. A crumpled up paper, definitely some crumpled up paper. Otherwise she'd keep her headphones in there, but she has that around her neck.
Okay. So as the three fairies emerge from your pack, as they begin to squirm and break free of the side pocket, one of them has what appears to be the broken tip of an orange crayon. The other one has and the other two are lugging one of the stones. And as they fly away, they drop the stone on Al's head. But it's just a little pebble, so like just plunk, like it doesn't hurt you or anything like that. They giggle.
Al closes his eyes and in an amazing effort of patience just sighs.
Come dance around your instrument.
Mila will pull at Al's arm.
Al looks at Mila, looks at the fairies, and rolls his eyes and sighs again and lets Mila drag him.
She'll kind of whisper under her breath, "It's not my fault you cheated, Al." She kind of brings him over towards the edge of the river.
Al quietly under his breath says, "Mila, have you ever known me to cheat?"
Dance! Mila will wrap her arms around you and kind of like start, what is that? Almost
polka?
like no, not polka,
Square
but like
dancing.
square dancing. Thank you, Piph.
Dancing, awesome. Okay, Tom, Patrick, what are you doing in the meantime?
Tom is just. Sorry, go ahead.
Patrick has stopped doing whatever the flip he was doing with his waving hand and has full rapt attention about what the heck is going on over there. Besides that, he's not moving.
Okay.
Tom is just witnessing his musical instrument get waterlogged and
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's weeping inside. Because he went to a store actually not too long ago in Ipshiming to find that specific guitar because he liked that one.
Don't let your life pass you by.
Basically.
Leave them for
So Mila and Al begin to dance, along with the light, fast music of the fairies as they dance and swirl and jig and shake their derrieres and call you silly names. And eventually, after about 20 minutes of dancing, if you choose, well, first of all, do Al and Mila choose to dance this long?
Mila will dance that long easily.
Yes, Al has no skill at dancing, but I guess he can use his sense of balance and high dexterity to try and keep up somehow.
Well, oddly enough, the fairies kind of assist you in a way because they take out their little wooden swords and daggers, and sometimes they poke you in the hip or the elbow or the butt to kind of help you move around.
Oh, thanks goodness.
Mila will also not poke Al, but poke the fairies very lightly as they come close and laugh.
Oh, okay. Well, they'll laugh along with you, but they'll do their best to kind of dodge out of the way of your pokes.
Yeah, if she manages to hit any, well, not hit, but like, you know, pop one, she'll kind of stick out her tongue and smile at them.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, we're going to say for the sake of the narrative, you do kind of bop one on the head as you stick out. And for the next, 5 minutes while you're dancing, you and 3 fairies take turns in making, goofy faces at each other.
Oh, yay!
So one of the fairies breaks off from the group and starts flying towards Tom, a male one. You don't know. Maybe you've seen this one before, Tom. Maybe you haven't. With the exception of their genders, all these goddamn fairies look the same. Except for the one with the flute and the lyre, because it has a flute and a lyre.
And a lyre.
And it sits on top of your nose, crosses its arms, and it says, "You didn't find moonlight."
Yeah, you guys were moving too fast.
Well, if you still want to catch moonlight, you're gonna have to move fast too.
I'm not feeling up to it.
Doesn't matter. Big ones need to dance. Big ones take life too seriously. Come, dance with me. I'll give you a present afterwards. Great bubbling brew, straight from the river. It'll make you laugh, it'll make you smile, it'll make you forget your worries. Come, find moonlight, dance. Now.
But you broke my guitar.
It's just a little wet, like fish.
It's ruined.
You don't know that. Only one way to find out. Come
It's
and get
made
it.
of wood.
So is this. And he picks out his little sword and pops you in between the eyes with it. Dance, human. Dance, big one.
And he'll start moving slowly towards the rest of the group.
The fairy stays on your nose this entire time as it goads you towards the dancing group. Good. Found another big one. Let's see how it dances too. Roll me a D100 burn.
Heat is on.
50.
Much like Al, the fairies sometimes poke and prod and pinch you to help you move a little faster. Move the way they like.
He's gonna be getting poked a lot because he's not that enthusiastic about dancing right now.
Clearly.
Yep.
So,
I was gonna say, contrary to that, I guess after a few minutes, seeing Mila having so much fun, Al will start to enjoy himself or the moment.
Mila will bop him on the nose.
Bop, 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 cheater bop, cheater bop.
Cheater
Sing and
bop.
dance.
Uncharacteristically, Al will actually, at the surprise of it, will actually laugh out loud.
Mila will join.
So,
Chaos.
well, kind of.
Yeah.
Not necessarily chaos, but here's the thing. The fairies are going to dance it continues on dancing for quite some time, for an hour or so. Am I good to describe the next little bit of this scene?
Sure.
After that, the fairies stop dancing and they hover around, and they kind of hover around the 3 of you. And the one that was on Tom's nose says, made a promise, gift for the big, stupid, slow ones. And they all giggle at that. And they say, okay. Look. Is it like a fish? It swims like a fish. Let's see. And they all go down to grab the waterlogged wooden guitar, and all the fairies fairy swarm around it and begin to lift it up from the water. Their hair and their bodies getting slick with the water. and they lift it. They make it fly about 10 feet around, and they all start chanting, "Flounder, flounder in a dish. Flounder, flounder, make a wish." And as they turn the guitar upside down, from the hole, I don't know what the actual call is, but you know where the hole is and where the strings are in
Yeah.
front of.
Yeah.
Out from that hole flops a bunch, not a bunch, like, well, not, I said a bunch and then I said not a bunch. Shut up, Inferno. A bunch of fish,
What is it?
silver,
Okay.
sleek fish that are very, very large, that you're not too sure how they fit inside of the guitar, but now they flop onto the ground.
Hmm.
And the fairies kind of giggle and laugh, and they dance on the fish, and a few of them pretend to flop around on the ground too. And they begin to cut into the scales with their little wooden swords and take up pieces of flesh, and they set them aside on little bits of leaves. And they say, "Need a drink, need a drink. Dancing makes us thirsty. What do you think the big ones want? Something sweet?
Chocolate milk.
For the first time, with a couple giggles, the fairies kind of look to each other and they say, don't know. Must be nasty brew. Find
Oh,
something better for them."
it's the nastiest brew, but I'm a witch, so I need it. Mila
Witch?
says, getting like a devilish smile.
The fairies begin to giggle and they say, "A witch, a witch," and they all like pretend to like hide in horror, and they all kind of retreat into the nearby forest.
Mila puts her hands on her hips and kind of gives a Jabba the Hutt sort of laugh, like,
Oh.
yeah, just feeling the moment. This like is like chaos, and she loves every second of it.
Well, the moment passes, and sure enough, the fairies once again emerge from the forest. And all of them begin to make a circle around the ring. But for those who are keeping count, it appears that there's actually now 14 of the fairies instead of 15. I'm going to kind of describe two scenes. I'm going to split things off here for a moment.
What?
Hmm?
Oh, I said okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought I just heard a what, and I'm like, hey, listen, deal with it.
What?
So we'll continue with the bulk of the fairies right now. As they dance around in the circle and they begin to chant, the witch, let's find something for it. Boil, boil, bubble, bubble, trouble, trouble. And then they begin to finding more rhymes and more nonsense words, and as they do so, up from the rolling water in the middle of the moonlight begins to emerge this glass bottle that's not very big. It's only about maybe a foot tall, right? And it looks like good old-fashioned potion bottle. It begins to float and shimmer with light air, and they all kind of clamber around it. Half of them kind of clamber around it and begin to float it towards Tom. And it says, "Drink, drink, drink." And the one on the very tip where the cork is might be the same fairy that was sitting on your nose. You're not too sure. The voice sounds kind of familiar, but all their voices are light and kind of annoying. As it says, "Made a promise. Here's your gift. Drink it down. Make a wish."
Uh,
And so I'll
Oh,
pause
boy.
here for a moment. That's
Yeah.
okay. Switch to the other thing.
Mhm.
Patrick, are you still watching all this going on, like for the
Yeah.
past hour?
Pretty much.
From the corner of your eye, you see light blue silver wings begin to fly over towards you. As female fairy hovers by your head. Actually, what she does is she speaks to you, but she constantly flits from your left ear to your right ear, to your left ear to your right ear. And she says, "Golden scales, like a fish, but does not join. Why? Why? Do you not like our song, big one? Are you sad?"
Oh, no. I'm actually enjoying the show. Um, I didn't want to, intrude with such, so many of us.
More big ones equals more fun. You have any sweets for me? I'm awfully hungry.
Um, well, there's some berries over there.
No. Sick of berries. Want something new. Big ones have so much that's new. Chocolates and candies. Honey, too.
I do have a question because I have wondered this before in this session. Do we actually have sweets?
That
I
is
don't
a good
know.
question. Yeah, I remember you guys got fudge back in Parents Post a long time ago.
Yeah.
Days.
All
you know
we
what?
have right now is stuff that the people from L Zone Prime would have had, and plants that we had from space.
True. However, we can also offer a little bit of narrative control because here's the thing. You guys were recently in Ishpeming, right? You guys could have done a little bit of shopping. And does Mila have a sweet tooth?
Yo. Yeah, actually, now that I think about
Oh
it,
God,
we would
yes.
at the very least gotten stuff to make chocolate milk and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So to answer your question then, yes.
I believe we have some chocolate.
Where? Where? Show me. Is it in your big metal box?
Uh, Patrick will stand up and say, "I'll get some for everyone." Uh, as he walks towards the behemoth.
Oops. Wrong button. All right. And you hear a little giggle and a pull on your left earlobe. And as you move towards the behemoth, the fairy is nowhere in sight.
Huh. Patrick will stop for a second. The one thing that he does know is these things are mischievous.
Uh-huh.
Patrick will go, "Where, oh, where did that little friend go?" As he then feigns looking around the treetops and the ground. Then he goes, "I know. I'll sniff him out." And Patrick will cast Sense Magic.
There's definitely some pretty strong magic, like 10 feet above your head. You can't see it, but you can sense it.
Hmm.
You can smell it, more specifically.
I smell with my little nose something above me. As Patrick sniffs back and forth dramatically like a play.
Nose is big, nose is silly, but does not get me sweets. Go, hurry.
Ah, but the nose knows much.
Nose, says the female fairy as she once again turns visible immediately above you as she dive bombs with her little wooden sword and plonks you on the very tip of your head.
Patrick, get her number.
Ow.
Get her number? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Get some numbers or go
number.
home scrub. Patrick go, all right, I'll get some sweets. But
Good.
I'm going to keep a nose out for you.
She sticks out her tongue and brings her finger underneath her eye and makes a face at you. So while you go get the sweets, I'm going to switch it back to the other group. Work for you?
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. So all the fairies are chanting like a bunch of weird frat boys as they start hovering the bottle towards Tom.
He will motion to reach up and grab it.
Great. Mm-hmm. You make a grab for it. You bring your hand around the neck of the bottle, and it's very cool to your touch, but it doesn't pass through it. It's definitely a bottle.
Okay.
As the fairy on top of the cork flies off of it and begins to try to pull the cork up, but it's not working really well.
He'll reach up to try and assist.
Sure. You're able to pop the cork off, no problem. And inside as soon as the cork pops, you can see the liquid in this green bottle begin to bubble and pop and fizz.
Well, he's gonna give a shrug and start drinking.
Okay. You drink, and it is super sweet. It's like liquid sugar going into your mouth and into your belly. And it's very, very warm. I'd like you to roll me a save versus magic, please.
Save versus magic. That's spell magic or ritual?
It's fairy magic. You gotta get over 15.
Oh, hot damn. And I do get a +2 to that because of my high physical endurance. All right.
Wait. Because of fairy magic? Physical endurance for magic? Are you not confusing this with poison?
Physical endurance says +6% versus coma death and +2 versus all magic and poisons.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, if you want, I can just...
No. Those are the rules. It's fine. I'm not going to overwrite the rules at that point.
I got exactly 15?
Goes to the defender. That's my rule. So...
No. He's laughing at all fairies everywhere.
I'm sorry. Maybe I shouldn't have laughed.
I'll
shut up now.
You feel in your stomach it begin to boil and bubble a little bit, and it makes you belch quite a bit. But other than that, then they pass the bottle over to Al, and they say, "Grumpy Elfkin likes to dance too slow, but maybe this'll make him fast. Drink."
Al will look at Tom.
Tom will look at Al and just shrug.
Al sighs again. He's doing that a lot this night.
And in fact, as you sigh, like a good half of the fairies start making mocking sighs. Ha 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 ha! Is that the new words that elves say now? Are they like that now? I thought they were okay. I'm not too sure. This one makes noises out of its mouth and nose. Look it up with bubbling brew.
Al
Drink.
will raise the drink up and say, "I told you, I'm not a very good elf," and then he'll drink it.
Okay, same save. Versus a 50. These fairies are displeased. As you begin to drink, and very similar effect. Very bubbly, makes you belchy, and they laugh and they laugh and they laugh, and they finally send it over to the bottle. The remaining third of the bottle heads over towards Mila, and they say, "You like to dance. You like to make faces. Drink. This'll make you feel better too."
But I feel fine.
And two dairy fairies start dancing on the tip of your head, and they say, "You'll feel better. You'll feel better. Drink, drink, drink."
She'll shrug and she'll drink it.
Okay. Roll me a save versus magic.
There you go.
There we go. So, the fairies finally get what they want.
Mila dies.
You begin to feel very light-headed, very happy, and extremely giggly. And after a few moments, you begin to start floating up into the air.
Okay, I was gonna say,
And
up until that point, we didn't notice anything different.
Yeah, you didn't. But it gets even more interesting because Mila is like a Mila balloon now. And all the fairies dance in a big circle around the floating, giggling Mila, and they begin to giggle and they say, "Your friend is gonna reach the sky. Hi, 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 hi," as they get higher and higher in their voices as they dance around Mila's chest and belly and head as she begins to giggle. And much like a balloon, she begins to like float up into the sky, and the breeze kind of starts to take her a little bit. And and she starts floating up into the air, guys, like a balloon. The fairies are dancing around. And by the way, as you giggle, and if you even try to speak, Mila, little bubbles begin to escape from your nose and your mouth.
This is straight up Willy Wonka shit.
Yeah. Yeah. But you're having a hell of a time.
Oh yeah,
This is
I'm loving
hilarious.
it. It's great.
So during this, no one has really seen Bear much. He has not been in the behemoth, and he's not been around Mila or Al when they were making camp. He excused himself hours before to ensure everything would be safe. Although he wasn't overly concerned, he wanted to stretch his legs, after being in that crowd, that crowded city and whatnot. It's at this time where Bear reemerges from the forest and he sees his long time dear friend companion floating to the air, and all of you can just hear a "Oh no!"
Oh, Bear.
as he begins to try to chase and catch Mila, but she's kind of out of his grasp.
Al will say, "Don't worry, Bear. I'll keep up with her." And Al will. Well, here's a question because I've never actually tried this before. Will the suit still function with the helmet off?
Yeah, of course.
Okay,
You
then Al
won't get
will-
any sort of bonuses to your optics at all,
Right.
but the rest of the suit's fine.
I-
Just
Al
be
will
careful if you crash into something, you have no head
Right.
protection.
Gotcha. Al will start because the suit can technically fly, not very well, but it can hover up to 200 feet and fly at.
Well, Mila hasn't broached 200 feet yet. She's like 50 feet in the air now.
So Al will fly up near her and just kind of keep pace, just to make sure that she's okay.
Anything else that you want to do in particular, Tom, before I switch over to Patrick's little scene?
No, I think I'm good.
Okay. All right. So, Patrick, you're in the behemoth, right? With your big sense magic nose on. And what are you doing? You're just looking for some of these talked about sweets, pieces of chocolate and caramel and stuff like that?
Yes.
Okay. You're able to find it, secure it, no problem. And you do know, thanks to your nose, that the fairy has entered into the behemoth with you and is currently, well, it's opened up one of the cabinet doors and it's rummaging around inside. Hasn't bothered to turn invisible again.
Oh, I've got the sweets. If you want them, you have to follow me.
The fairy comes out, and her face, her normally like gray-green face, is now covered in like white flour and sugar, like pure like baker sugar, I guess you could say, or confectionery sugar.
Mhm.
As she nods and licks her lips and follows after you.
Uh, Patrick will uh, move out of the behemoth, um, waiting for the fairy to also exit so he can close the door.
It takes a little while, but eventually it does exit.
Right. And then he will march on over to his friends. There are just two of them now.
Yeah, well, you do see Mila and Bear kind of looking underneath. Well, yeah, owls keep. Let me see, where would Bear be? Bear would be standing on the ground, staying on the ground underneath where Mila's flying up, while Owl's trying to kind of keep hovering pace next to her. So it's really just Tom that's kind of by the where the bunch of the dead fish are, and and um and his water-soaked guitar on the ground with a broken string.
Um, Patrick will note, "Oh, his favorite guitar is broken."
Made better, says the fairy as she like, are the sweets in your hands?
Yes.
As she begins to fly towards your hands and starts picking at the caramels and the chocolates that's there, as she begins stuffing her face like a chipmunk with like chocolate and whatnot in there. Um, Al, you can hover nearby, and while you're kind of hovering near the giggling Mila, some of them begin like poking at your nose with the swords and saying, "If you drank the wine right, you'd be floating up here this way too." And all of a sudden, one of them pauses for a moment and it raises its hands in its air. It's a male fairy and it waves it back and forth really fast. It goes, wait, 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 wait. And they all stop, still for a moment, only interrupted by Mila's giggling, as the fairy that was shaking his hand says, "Where's Crumpet?" Where's Crumpet? Where's Crumpet? And they look around, and one of them points accusingly towards Patrick, and they say, "Crumpet!" And they all begin to leave Mila and soar straight towards Patrick, the fairy, and more specifically, the sweets that he has in his hands, and the candies, and the chocolate. Patrick, a
I've done it now.
herd of fairies is streaking towards you. What do you do?
Hmm. Let's see, what would Patrick do with a whole bunch of fairies? You know what? He would probably at this point go into reaction mode and go and kind of brace himself, holding up his hands towards them with the chocolates and sweets.
So have you guys ever seen, I don't know if you guys live by major water areas, but have you ever, well, either pigeons or seagulls, if throwing in some kind of food to the ground or breadcrumbs or something like that, and how they just swarm around it like crazy? Are you all familiar with that mental image?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
That's exactly what's happening right now towards Patrick's hands. And unfortunately, Patrick, the tips of your fingers and the sides of some of your fingers get little fairy bites on them because some of them are like super eager as they begin to devour. And you hear them still try to sing and laugh with their mouths full. And it's just like a like just an incredible cacophony of fairy-like noises as they begin to devour the food that you have in your hands. Take like 2 points of SDC damage from all the little fairy bites. So Mila is getting higher and higher into the air. She's like 350 feet up now. And she's floating
Well-
like a balloon on the wind.
Well, hang on, because I was going to say if she started to hit towards the ceiling, Al would try to hold on to her to at least keep her from getting out of his reach.
Okay. All right, so you can grab onto her, and the power armor is strong enough to hold her down. But here's the thing: it's not like it's just zero gravity, which you are actually all quite familiar with. Like you gotta pull her down. Like this magic is crazy. Like there's a significant amount of poundage of force that you need to do to keep her level at the 200 feet ceiling.
Okay.
So
Here's an interesting question. So you said she's like a balloon. She's not actually like. Has she blown up like a balloon?
no.
Then Al will try to
Although that would be hilarious.
put an arm around her shoulders like when they were dancing, but use that to keep her from rising up.
Okay. So how long can you maintain that hovering speed?
I think only for an hour.
Okie dokie. So we're gonna switch. I just need to know that. We're gonna switch back to the fairies that are devouring everything. Give me a moment.
It's just so you know, it's 2 hours of continuous flight, and before it has to stop.
Okay. Isn't that interesting? So, soon after we're going to say about a period of about 5 minutes of constant fairy gorging on sweets. And eventually they all emerge from your hands licking their chops like chocolate and caramel just like smothered along their faces. And they say, "You're not so bad." As one of the fairies once again bops you on the tip of the nose, Patrick, and the other one bops Tom on the tip of the nose. And they begin to once again play some music and dance along the river. And eventually, after over a period of about 15 minutes, they begin to make their way back into the forest. You can stop them any time if you want to interact with them specifically. But interestingly, at this point, after they've gotten their full, they kind of ignore you and Tom.
Patrick would mention, we met one of your friends earlier today.
And as they dance and sing, one of the fairies says, "All of our friends are here."
Slightly bigger than you, short fellow, walks around, kind of has moss on him.
Oh, Doublekin. Doublekin, he's not our friend. Not anymore.
He did mention something about not dancing fast enough.
Oh, yes. He's too slow. He's too slow. He doesn't keep up anymore. And the fairies pause for a moment, and they simply say, "I'll give you a moment." Oh, my eyelash. Sorry, I got an eyelash in my eye. Ow, 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 ow. All right, sorry. Okay. Sorry about that. You didn't need to hear my freaking narration of my pain, but I know. Anyways, the fairies say, one after another, almost like they're saying a word each. The sentence is pretty much, he's too slow and he's too nasty. He has to let us play the way we like in order for him to come back. Did you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I did. Patrick will go, he did play with us earlier. He made the elf step in poo and gave us some berries.
Step in what? Step in what?
Poo.
They begin to giggle and laugh. And they say, cheater poo, cheater poo, cheater, cheater, cheater poo. And they giggle, and they seem to like that quite a bit. And they said, Bubblekin did that?
Yes. He was playing a quite mischievous trick that made all of us laugh.
And the fairies pause their dancing and their singing for a moment, and they kind of all huddle together, and you hear them kind of whisper amongst each other in a language that you don't actually recognize. And they say, you promise? Are you fibbing?
No fib. Definitely the truth.
Show us where he stepped.
It's not too far. It's right over there.
You lead them over towards it?
Yes.
And they giggle and they say, and they start dancing around like the dung pile, and they start singing cheater poo, cheater poo. And as they fly up into the air, you hear them sing and say, well, I guess if he does that, that's okay. That elfkin is strange. He does not fit, like a broken hand inside a glove. Yes, he deserves that. Well, tell Bubblekin then, if he did that to Elfkin, then he can come and dance with us again.
Patrick will smile a bit and say, I believe we will all be happy.
Maybe. Your friend is happiest. And they point towards a fretting bear and a hauling Al and a giggling Mila. And they say, goodbye. Don't come back. And they all giggle and they fly back into the forest.
Don't come.
In his mind, he goes, how ominous.
And they begin to make scary ooh noises from the forest.
Wow.
You can hear fairy-like growls, but they're not all that intimidating. And with the final breeze of the bubbling water, you hear a few more snickers, and then it's just jet thrusters and Mila giggles. All you can hear.
Patrick looks up at the freaking absolutely weird sight of Al holding Mila up above his head, hovering there.
It's more like he's trying to hold her almost as if they were dancing but in the sky.
Yeah.
Mila will act like she's dancing with you and just dream like
It's funny, they spin around but not on purpose. It's more like Al trying to stabilize his Mila's wings.
I could just see Al Mila, please don't.
Mila.
After that, after talking with the fairies, Patrick will wander over to probably Tom's the closest if he's still there.
Yeah, he very likely is. He is cradling his guitar, his waterlogged guitar,
Oh, no. Just- Mila, please don't. Don't. Mila. 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 Mila.
trying to get water out of it,
He seems busy. I'm gonna go to Bear.
Okay.
Bear is looking up at Mila, but he notices you come and he says, "You're gone."
Yeah.
Old tales of my den mates back where I was originally from spoke of winged little creatures. I thought they were friendlier, he says with a frown.
What do you mean?
They giggle and laugh, but he points over to Mila and Al and he says, if he was not there, she would have floated far away. Maybe even landed hard too.
Patrick had a small smile on his face throughout majority of that, except when he got to the end of Mila could have flown away, and then he starts like darkening his face a bit and go, oh, he starts moving in place a bit. I should probably do something. Oh, God, I can't. Patrick looks up and goes, I don't think Al can hear me if I yell at him. Oh boy. Do you have like?
He doesn't even have his radio on.
No.
'Cause his helmet isn't nearby.
Oh no. Patrick's look back. He's gonna go to Tom. Tom.
What?
Mila is floating away.
I saw that.
We have to do something.
He's still hitting the back of his guitar trying to get water out.
More dribbles
Al-
fall out.
Al has it. It's fine.
He doesn't look. Are you sure? Like he's kind of spinning uncontrollably over there. At least he's
Tom,
trying
you
to
see them-
control.
You do see them slowly sinking down, but it's certainly not exactly the gracefulest.
Tom looks up, then goes back to his guitar. Well, I don't have anything to help with that, unless you want me to light them on fire. As he goes and looks at him with a steely stare. I mean, I could do that. Do you want me to do that?
No, that's fine.
Okay, then.
But no, you can fly though. I know you can.
Me?
Yes.
No.
You have crystal armor on.
No, I don't. Like I said, I have just my normal robes.
Oh, that's right,
Oh,
you did.
yeah. That's
I
right.
don't have my armor on. That's why I was saying, well, I'm useless in this situation.
How long have they been up there?
I think a couple of minutes.
It's been about 10 minutes now.
I think like 2 minutes. I haven't been paying attention.
Well, okay.
You know what I should have done? I should have worn the Mystic Power Armor.
No, but okay. How did this happen?
Well, the fairies gave us something to drink. It didn't do anything to me. Didn't do anything to Al. But Mila there, she started floating up. Thankfully, Al was still in his power armor.
They gave you a drink?
Yeah. I figured why not?
They have something you could drink?
Yeah. Something about bubbly brew.
Patrick looks absolutely. He looks inquisitive at this point, going, "So they had a bottle large enough for us to drink."
Yeah.
Why would they? Why would they have a bottle like that?
Why would they accuse Al of? You know what? Just never mind. And as he goes back to hitting his guitar, trying to get some more water out.
Patrick's sitting there going, do you mind if I used your crystalline armor?
Yeah, sure. It's back in the behemoth.
Okay.
It's
Patrick.
in my room. It's hanging up all the way to the left in my closet.
Thank you. As Patrick rushes over, disconnecting
Ceremoniously.
his armor as he
Sure.
runs to the behemoth.
Okay, sure. As you get into the behemoth and begin to change, Alicia will pop out from the cockpit, and she says, "Is everything okay?" Mila's laughing a lot
Mila's floating
over the
away.
radio. What? Is she hurt?
No, mate, hold. I'm just. She's.
While Patrick is floundering, quite specifically with words and beginning to change, both Alicia and Blink now emerge from the behemoth and kind of look on at wonder at the scene that Mila is causing, or at least being a part of.
They see Mila and Al kind of dancing in the sky, slowly going towards the ground.
Okie dokie. Patrick, you get into the armor, no problem.
He will try to cast Fly Like an Eagle and join them.
Okay. Now, you soar through the sky once you leave the behemoth, of course. Otherwise, you just hit the ceiling. As Al, giggling Mila, you are joined by Patrick in that crystal-like mystic armor.
Al says, "Oh, hey, Patrick."
Hi, Patrick. Woo.
Bubbles emerge from Mila's mouth as she says, giggles at greeting.
Blah, blah, blah. She makes noises for the bubbles.
She drank something, Al says.
Yeah, Tom said, okay, so,
Just, if you can, help me get back to the ground gently, and then I can give her like a piggyback ride back to the behemoth to keep her down.
Okay. I'll get on top and push.
What?
To help weigh her down.
Okay. And then Al will try to slowly reduce the thrusters so that they kind of float back to the ground.
What's your physical strength, Patrick?
It's not very high.
The second you release the thrusters, Al, the more Mila begins to come into the sky again. You have to engage the thrusters again real quick to maintain that pull that you have on her.
Oh, okay. Al will say, or not.
Watch me spin! Mila will say, moving her body, attempting to spin in the air.
It's tricky. You got your friends grappling you, but you make a good effort of it.
Thank you.
No problem.
That's not working, Al.
Yeah. your armor should be able to cast superhuman strength. That should be enough to help. Well, I don't know. I maybe.
I don't. I'll maybe it'll increase my mass.
Uh,
He will activate superhuman strength and try again.
The strength is enough. Combine both Al and Patrick. It's awkward as hell, and Mila isn't helping by squirming, trying to roll, and giggling in your ears. But very slowly, over a period of about 30 minutes, you're able to guide and pull and push Mila down towards the ground and into the behemoth. That was your objective, right, guys?
right.
Yes.
So when Mila gets into the behemoth, do you let go of her?
I say we gently, if she's still floating, gently let her float up to the ceiling.
Yep, that's exactly what happens, like a balloon on the ceiling.
And then Al's going to immediately say, we need all the cushions we can find to put underneath her, because this will end eventually. I hope.
Yeah, damn straight you hope.
Mila will have metal boots for the rest of the campaign.
So that's a good question. Do our beds, like, do they have mattresses or
Sure.
something
yeah,
similar?
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then
Just have her
Al-
hover above her mattress.
No, well, but she
Good luck.
might move.
Yeah.
So
Listen.
You
I'm
have
just
to
gonna
stay
say,
there.
Mila's like, in her state, and her being Mila is gonna try and just float around and see what happens.
Oh, jeez.
So this is getting harder, guys.
Okay, so what you do is you take as many pillows as you can find and tie them to Mila for the eventual
Just
when
tie
the
the
magic.
mattress to her.
Yes. For when the magic eventually runs out.
I just had the image of tying a mattress to a string and tying that to Mila, so she just drags it with her.
Yep.
That works. Is
Yeah.
that the? So
That'll
do you want
work.
to do the?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. You guys come together as a team and tie Mila to a mattress. And interesting enough, as she floats around, she does drag the mattress around her with very little effort. For being light as a balloon, she has a lot of pull to her. I'm gonna just narratively skip ahead a little bit, if that's okay by you guys. Mila is being giggly and carefree and exploring a new angle of the behemoth she probably never has done before, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 2 hours after you initially started dancing with the fairies, all of a sudden, Mila, you don't have to stop giggling, but the mystical urge to make you giggle has ended. And just as that ended, you you fall from the ceiling onto the mattress, taking no damage. Because mattress.
Woo!
Oh.
That was
you were-
fun.
And with that, I can, you guys can roleplay a little bit if you want, but I can continue to narrate your journey to Tolkien.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Al would actually at one point I would be like, well, I never got a chance to talk to him about our little friend.
Oh no,
Right.
I finished that. We probably need to talk to him to say that he's in the clear now, because apparently they really liked you stepping in the poo.
Al nods. I'm not surprised.
Told you it was a good thing.
All right. Well, sure. We'll try and find him tomorrow morning, I guess.
So, if that is the general plan, that's okay with everyone?
Mm-hmm.
So, in the morning, after you have maybe a bit of breakfast, something to eat, you, where do you want to try to meet this fellow? This bubblekin.
I guess the best way would be to go back where we met him the first time and maybe start drawing on the ground.
Okay.
I will definitely go back to the pikes with the skull and the feathers.
Okay.
But Patrick will most likely be on his cyberjack computer.
Okay. What do you guys so you assemble back towards the three wooden pikes with the skulls and the feathers on them. Um, out of curiosity, if you do draw on the ground, what do you draw?
Um, Al, I guess, would draw a really bad stick figure drawing of two people, one with pointy ears, one with long hair, dancing around clouds.
Okay. Um, you have to wait for about 40 minutes or so. But eventually, we're gonna say Mila is the first. Assuming Mila's here, is that a fair assumption?
Sure.
Mila is the first to see those golden eyes peer from the dim light of the rising sun, the vegetation. And sure enough, that big plump purple head comes out, peeks out. He says, I heard lots of laughing last night. Oh, did you hear what he said or no?
Yes.
Oh, I heard it.
Okay, good. And as he approaches you, very, very timidly, very, very carefully, just one foot after another, in his hands is another bit of leaves, and it's steeped with a lot of berries, and he's bringing it towards you.
Uh, Patrick will
Al, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Patrick will stop his uh, irregular hand waving and focus on the uh, little creature and go, oh, yes, we seem to have had we had a night of it,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked with them, and they would love for you to come back.
And its eyes widen even more as a smile crosses its purple face, and he says, really?
Uh, yes. They heard uh how we met, and he really liked that you made us smile.
Oh, says, oh, good. And he looks down to the leaf with the berries in his hand, and he says, here, one moment. And he places the leaf with the berries on the ground. He brings his purple hands down and he begins to mash the berries over and over again with the palms of his little purple hands, his mud cake purple hands. But interestingly enough, as he mashes in the berries into like a paste, the mud on his hands doesn't intermix with the berry juice or the berry pulp. And soon, coated over that leaf itself is like a layer of pulpy, squished berries. And he takes a little white three um, petaled flower from the nearby ground and he puts it right in the middle of that mashed up thing and he brings it over towards you, the group, towards Tom and Patrick and Mila and Al, and he says, there, berries are good, but even better as a luck charm. Keep this, and maybe my friend's mean tricks won't be so mean anymore.
Okay.
Al will smile and say thank you.
And he gives a little shy smile back, or it gives a little shy smile back. And as it begins to just as timidly begin to take back steps back towards the forest, it says, I know they're kind of nasty sometimes, but sometimes you can't pick your friends. And with that, it begins to scurry into the forest.
Al raises an eyebrow and he thinks to himself, and then he quietly says, "I'm pretty sure you can." And then shrugs.
Patrick looks over and says, "Well, if it is what I expect it to be, that's pretty much the only interaction that he's going to have. I mean, besides us travelers."
Yeah, I guess you're right. Well, they never seemed like they meant any ill will, so I guess it's better with them than alone. I guess.
Well, it's better to be with them than against them.
That's definitely true, Al says, a bit too quickly.
They weren't so bad. Mila pipes in, shrugging.
Oh, probably should mention, don't accept gifts from them. They are usually,
They're what? Sorry, you cut off there, Chief.
they're usually full of tricks, or I've basically just read in a book saying don't take their gifts.
Got it. Well,
Mila doesn't look like she's actually listening to what you're saying.
I think it's safe to take this one, he says, holding up the leaf, since he technically isn't a fairy. Think. Right?
Patrick thinks for a moment. Well, if it's anything like the last one that we had, I think we can deal with it, even if it is.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Well, speaking of bad people, shall we continue? Getting rid of ours?
Oh yeah, I was like, what?
Yes.
Mila.
Looks to
What?
me.
Looks at Mila with narrowed eyes.
The team off camera has been plotting her demise.
This entire time.
The most innocent character.
The whole time they were up there in the sky dancing, he was trying to find a time to stab her or something.
Why do you think Tom was so nonchalant and not care?
No.
Fuck Mila. Nah, just kidding.
So as you travel and as later on as the days pass, perhaps it is Patrick who kind of studies this, or maybe this is just something that you eventually learn in your adventures. But for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to say out of character what that flower, like that leaf with the berry and the flower on it is that after a period of 2 hours, it actually hardens completely. So it's a lot more sturdy, and the flower itself is embedded in the, for lack of a better word, like the jam, right?
Mhm.
But it hardens so it doesn't goop all over the place, and you can actually turn it upside down and fling it around, and it's not a problem whatsoever. And what it provides is a +2 saving throw versus all fairy magic.
Oh, very nice.
Neat.
So now, here's the thing. I kind of feel bad because I'm like, yeah, Tolkien, and I didn't anticipate this foolishness with the fairies. I mean, this is fantastic. Don't get me wrong.
Mhm.
But here's the thing. I could narrate and give you the first impressions of Tolkien right now, or we can end the session a little early and have you guys just enter into Tolkien and get that whole first experience at the beginning of next session. What would you prefer?
I'm fine with the second. That way, there's no feeling of having to be rushed or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm cool with whatever.
That we've wrapped up one thing, and then once we start the next thing, we start off on our new Tolkien adventure.
Oh god, Piph, you keep cutting out, buddy.
Yeah, you do.
What? I do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Wonder if it's because
Initiate
I do
Operation
clicks.
Take Down Patrick.
It could be.
Like,
Well, then before we... Oh, sorry, Piph.
do I cut out right?
Yes.
Yes.
When did it cut out?
When you said
right.
right.
And so
Yeah.
right went all the way through?
Yes.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Interesting. That's it.
Okay.
Well,
Okay.
then my only question is, do you guys have any interactions between yourselves as characters or with any NPCs that we can maybe do right now before we wrap up the session?
Yeah, actually,
I might.
Okay.
I have one. Yeah. Well, okay. We'll do it this way. Al would at one point want to approach August,
Okay. All right.
and oh, go ahead.
Oh, no big deal. You can find him. He's probably in the kind of main dining area. We'll say maybe this is after the fairy encounter, maybe?
Sure.
Okay.
And he'll say, August. I was wondering if you had a moment to talk.
August looks around the behemoth, it currently in motion on its way towards Tolkien, and with a bit of a smirk, he says, "Well, I'm not going anywhere, but yeah, I got time."
Al sits down with the same kind of smirk and says, technically, you are.
August adjusts his glasses, purses his lips, kind of rolls his eyes a little bit, and he says, "If never mind. What can I assist you with?"
Al nods and he says, I was wondering. I know we've had some bad experiences with surveillance cameras in the past, but it might be good for us to have cameras around the ships, the common areas, not obviously our private areas, but some sort of surveillance systems in the ship so that if maybe anyone comes in here and we don't know about it, or if nothing else, if we want to record a conversation with someone without them exactly knowing about it, it'd just be nice to have these kind of things. But the ship is very advanced, and I thought if anyone knew, you would. If there are cameras and what we would be looking for to do such a thing, something that we could integrate with the ship's technology.
August takes off his glasses and nibbles on the tip of the what was it, the side of the glasses that go on your head behind your ears? What are those called?
Oh my
Rim?
god, what are those? No, the rim's the part of the lens.
Yeah.
I don't know. The ear bar.
Nice. Okay.
Yes, call it
Called
an
an
ear
bar.
bar.
The ear bar. Yeah, never mind. He nibbles on the tip of it and he goes, "Well, I understand the fundamentals and the basics behind that, but I'm going to be honest with you, Al. I'm not truly a surveillance installation expert. I'm good at getting into surveillance equipment, but I'm not as seasoned when it comes to rigging things up, especially with an unknown advanced technology. This is not to say I can't make a good try of it, of course, but it would perhaps be a," he pauses for a moment, "a learning experience for me."
Definitely true. I'd love to help you too. I'm not, again, nowhere near as knowledgeable at this as even you are, but
No, nowhere near, August says.
Al nods, like carefully nods in complete agreement, hiding any sort of um, emotions from his face, and he says, "I
August
also."
is trying his best to be good, but he ain't perfect. He's
he,
still
he says,
August.
"Also, I had an interesting idea that I thought
Oh,
you might enjoy. Well, I know that a lot of times you stay here on the ship or in the behemoth when we are in the thick of it, and
mhm.
well, I was wondering, there's got to be some sort of cameras that can transmit signals wirelessly, right? Some way of installing maybe some sort of system on our body armor or power armor so that we can transmit what we see back to you here, so that if we're in the pinch, you can see what we're seeing and help us real time." I mean, he wouldn't say real time. That's probably not the thing. But help us like you're there, but you don't have to be there. You can be here.
As with most things, August begins, everything is simple in concept than it is in practice. This is not to say that this technology is completely unfeasible, but I see three possible problems. The first, of course, is expense. Manufacturing such things or digging up old relics of wireless communications, especially audio-visual ones, can be tricky and expensive. However, that is not to say that large industrial civilizations would be bereft of such things. The second difficulty, of course, it relies in interference. Many times, radio signals themselves get scrambled due to phenomenon, ley lines, or other such interference. Having a wireless communication, depending on the distance, could also create that. That would have to be factored out. And finally, of course, I have seen how all of you engage in battle. We would require something that can maintain the strains of a combat environment. But if we control for all these factors, yes, you're right. It is interesting.
Thought you might think so. A way to kind of get out there with us without all the. He kind of hesitates. What that would be involved.
Indeed, and I have had practice being a communique, mediator during our whole expedition on the Red Planet.
Okay, well, tell you what. Why don't you and I, when we get to Tolkien, we go on a bit of a shopping trip? Hell, we'll make lunch out of it, grab some food, go see what our options are.
And August gives a wiry smile, and although his face isn't one that's used to smiling or particularly looks good while he's smiling, the smile is, for all you can tell, quite genuine. And he says, yes, I would enjoy that.
Okay. Well, good talk. I'll kind of
Indeed,
drum
he
the
said,
table,
look back to his terminal.
and Al just kind of quietly lets himself out.
August allows you to leave his presence.
Al bows the whole way out. No.
Good. Good. This is the type of respect August was talking about. All right. Burn, you said Tom might have something.
Yes. Do anybody else have anything?
Well, if something not involving the guitar, then I would have something with you afterwards. Yes.
It's not involving the guitar.
Okay, then we'll do yours first, and then I would have something with Tom.
Okay. Then while we are on our way to Tolkien, Tom is going to try and catch Blink somewhere, probably while she's in a room or something.
Well, the behemoth is definitely not as big as the Rhapsody, and you are traveling, so it's pretty easy to catch her, not a problem.
Well, he will be carrying a backpack, one of his backpacks. And he is going to approach Blink.
Okay, Blink we'll set the scene a little bit. We'll say that Blink is in the midst of doing inventory of all the foodstuffs that were taken from the Elzone Prime people, and has been somewhat disrupted by that little rummaging fairy in the behemoth. But she's taking inventory, a stock of all the goods, making sure what should be consumed first for optimal, preservation.
Okay. Then Tom will approach her and ask, "Hey, do you have some time?"
She goes, "Oh yeah, this is boring as hell, and sure, I can take a break. What's on your mind?" she says, and she gives you a slightly worried look. remembering the
Well-
conversation that you two had, like, God, what was it? Like only 3 days ago, was it?
Around 3 or 4
4
days ago.
Yeah, yeah.
Around there, yeah. Tom will kind of nervously say, well, I know you asked me to give you your distance, but there was something I've been meaning to give you for a while, and I'll respect your decision no matter what, but I wanted to give you this anyways. And he's going to hand her the backpack.
Okay. And she'll take the backpack and she says, my keen senses of deduction make me think that it's in the backpack, right?
Yes.
She gives a smile. And she kind of gives a bit of a little sigh, and she takes another quick glance at you, and she opens up the backpack, and she finds...
She finds what appears to be silk. The green silken robes.
She says, oh, well, I didn't expect this.
Yeah, some of the Elzone Prime people were using them as blankets, so I made sure to wash them because some of them were kind of smelly. But there's 3 of them in there.
She
in
brings
case-
her orange fur tipped fingers across the fabric itself, and she feels it very gentle, and she says, I'm not familiar with this material.
It's silk.
She kind of gives a small frown, the look people gives when, they don't understand what it is.
Yeah. I honestly don't know where it comes from, but we found it in the same temple that we encountered Tyrath, essentially.
Oh,
For the
and
first
at the
time.
name of Tyrath, she says, is it, magical, like your armor?
No. From what we could gather in the temple, Tyrath was kind of worshipped as a god in there, and these were the priest's robes. They're nice. They're soft. They're good for sleeping robes.
Oh, she says. And she gives a genuine smile, and she says, well, thank you very much, Tom. I have to say, this is one of the most unique things I've ever had. It feels nice, and you're very sweet. She pauses for a moment. She says, but I'm going to need some more time, you understand.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to give that to you.
She shakes her head, and she says, I have to confess, I thought I've been around for a while now, and especially going to Earth the first time, being part of the Elzone Prime crew, going back into space with all you, meeting that Tyrath creature, going to Mars, surviving Mars, and ending up back here. It amazes me how much I can still be surprised by everything.
Yeah. There's still a lot left to explore, find out about this world, this place.
Yeah, it's kind of scary, actually, if you really think about it. But
Mm-hmm.
it's best to be optimistic. You're right.
Yeah.
There's kind of an awkward pause a little bit. She looks to her sheet that she was taking inventory on. She says, "Oh well, I should probably get back to this."
Yeah.
Thanks,
I'll...
Tom. And she's gonna give you like an awkward hug.
And Tom will give her an awkward hug back, and then he will leave her to her business.
All right. Oh boy.
Yep.
No. The
To be
relationship
honest,
was
out of
going so well
character.
until you told her you were 16.
Yeah, I know.
Aw.
18. Almost 18,
18.
sir.
Well, you're 17 now. But yeah, you're almost 18.
To be honest, I was planning on doing that ever since we were in space, giving her the ropes when we got back to Earth. So
No, Tom. Yeah, it's a good point. No, not a worry. I know, Kitty. I know.
I need to let this cat outside. I will be right back.
Anything else, guys?
I
That's
believe
Dead.
Nothing that can't wait till next week, though. It's just going to be telling Tom he's sorry about the guitar and he'll find him a new one or something like that. Or try and help him see if that one's salvageable. Because I would think if the guitar was well made, it might be salvageable. It didn't spend too long in the river. But yeah.
How long did it take? Did it last in the river?
Well, it was in the river for about, they were dancing around it for quite some time. The fairies are assholes. About 20-ish minutes. And the guitar has dried out considerably. But it is a little warped.
Al would tell Tom that he's sorry, of course. And he'd say that maybe when we get to Tolkien, we can find someone to repair it. Instead of just trying to find a new one.
Yeah, that works.
And Al says...
I didn't even play the damn thing. I just...
Al will say, well, it is good. Played good. But look,
Tom's just gonna stare at Al.
Look, just replace the bridge here. Maybe see if we can find someone to sand it down a little bit here. Maybe it might be fixable. Berries, right?
Yeah, berries, sure.
Super convincing.
Yeah.
So before we end things up, I'll give you guys a little preview because I set this up already. No, wait, actually, no, I'm not going to give you a preview. I'm going to wait for the impact of Tolkien. When you get to Tolkien, gosh darn it. Yeah. Show my hand right now. Who cares? So, yeah, great. Well, we'll wrap up the session here then. Almost right on time, too, which is nice. Mm-hmm. And thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody. I'll miss you all. Every single one of you.